Chapter 1389. The next day, Lu Chongxing planned to take his daughter Nangong Yaoyao out to play. Yaoyao, where do you want to go? Lu Chongxing looked at his daughter, whose eyes were filled with admiration and reliance, and asked with a smile. Yaoyao doesn't know either. Previously, mother never let Yaoyao go far away for training. Can daddy take Yaoyao to see the world? Today, Nangong Yaoyao was wearing a simple and elegant purple gauze dress. Her hair, like a waterfall of black silk, was styled into two playful big braids. The entire person radiated a fresh and elegant aura, with a sunny and bright appearance. Her star-like eyes sparkled, her nose was small and exquisite, and her mouth was always adorned with a cute and sweet smile. Going far training. Lu Chongxing heard this, touched his chin, then nodded and said, "All right." As he spoke, he lifted his daughter and soared high into the sky, entering the 9th heavenly gang wind layer. Buzz. The yin-yang mysterious divine light surged, like a layer of silk wrapping around his daughter, gently flowing. "Daddy, is this the 9th heavenly gang wind layer?" Nangong Yaoyao seemed a bit frightened, clinging to her father's arm. Her tender lips slightly parted as she observed her surroundings, speaking with a face full of wonder. Hasn't your mother brought you here before?" Lu Chongxing glanced at the girl's porcelain-like fair face and laughed. "Mother said it was too dangerous." The girl's pink lips pouted slightly. "Haha, your mother wasn't wrong." Lu Chongxing wouldn't speak ill of Nangong Meili. Nascent soul cultivators can travel through the 9th heavenly gang wind layer. But if bringing someone along and encountering enemies or dangers, it would be a distraction, indeed carrying significant risk. But with Dad here, it's not a big problem. While speaking, Lu Chongxing patted his spiritual pet bag, and instantly a golden light filled the air, accompanied by a terrifying aura. Screech. Xianxia the novel. Fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Golden all over, as if forged from gold, the golden-winged heavenly ping appeared. If it were in the past, even though Lu Chongxing was a nascent soul cultivator, it would be somewhat troublesome to take his daughter far away. But now with the golden-winged heavenly ping, going anywhere is much easier. "Daddy." Nangong Yaoyao looked at the golden-winged heavenly ping before her, instantly feeling a terrifying sense of danger, instinctively clinging tightly to Lu Chongxing's arm. "Don't be afraid, this is Daddy's spiritual pet." Lu Chongxing patted her hand, signaling not to be afraid. Then he took Nangong Yaoyao onto the back of the golden-winged heavenly ping. "This is Daddy's spiritual pet?" Nangong Yaoyao couldn't discern the strength of this golden-winged heavenly ping, but just by its appearance and presence, she understood that its strength far exceeded the third-rank centipede of the Wind Centipede Envoy. Looking at Lu Chongxing's refined and handsome appearance, she was incredibly surprised. She wondered what kind of background her father had. Not only did he easily suppress the Wind Centipede Envoy, grant her such a rare heavenly fragrance goo, but he also had such a stunning spiritual pet. Although the father and daughter had been together for a month, this father before her was still shrouded in mystery. "Let's go, Daddy will take you to explore the Myriad Beasts mountain range." Lu Chongxing spoke. Myriad Beasts mountain range is vast and boundless, with branches extending into Jin Kingdom. So he thought of taking his daughter there to expand her horizons and to see if there's any third-rank demon king to hunt. Whoosh! The golden-winged heavenly ping spread its wings, suddenly shooting out, tearing through the endless gang wind. Wow wow! Nangong Yaoyao saw such speed, where the gang wind was ripped apart by the golden-winged heavenly ping and couldn't help but cry out loud. If it weren't for the yin-yang mysterious divine light protecting her, she felt that the gang wind and speed could tear her to pieces. "Daddy, so fast." Her fair tender face flushed with a light pink hue, like a fine jade with powder, her starry eyes constantly looking around, excited like a little bird freed from its cage. Haha. Lu Chongxing watched his daughter gaze around, feeling amused. At this speed she probably couldn't see anything clearly. With a flick of his finger, a mirror appeared before them, revealing a beautiful scenery below like a starry chessboard. "Yaoyao, if you want to go anywhere, just say." Lu Chongxing addressed his daughter. "Thank you, Daddy." Nangong Yaoyao's brows arched, her mouth curving into a charming smile, demonstrating innocence and playfulness. At this moment she looked at Lu Chongxing's refined and handsome face and suddenly said, "Daddy, this isn't your true appearance, is it? Look at my memory." Lu Chongxing patted his forehead, allowing a stream of chaos qi to flow across his face. The refined and handsome appearance of a middle-aged man instantly transformed into a 20-year-old fair-skinned, handsome, deep-featured, and unearthly young man. Wow, wow, daddy, so handsome. The girl looked at her father's unmatched handsome, seemingly glowing face, immediately cupping her cheeks with sparkling eyes, like a little fangirl. Previously she felt she didn't resemble her father. Though her appearance was more like her mother's, it couldn't be that she inherited none of her father's features, right? Now seeing her father's true appearance, she suddenly understood. Moreover, she also somewhat understood why her mother was attracted to her father. Seeing his daughter's exaggerated expression, Lu Chongxing felt amused. However, this appearance certainly pushed emotional value to the maximum. Smiling, he ruffled her head and said, "Yao Yao is still the prettiest." These words weren't mere flattery. His daughter's looks were indeed flawless, perfectly inheriting the exquisite features of her mother, Nangong Mili, naturally beautiful. Yet compared to Nangong Mili, she wasn't so alluring or charming, her features fitting perfectly together, giving an indescribable beauty, fresh and elegant yet with a touch of innocence. It's good inheritance from mom and dad. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1390. Nangong Yaoyao's purple gauze dress was covered with a crystalline and translucent yin-yang mysterious light, faintly glowing, exceedingly beautiful and ethereal. Hey, this seems to be Heartless Ridge. At this moment she spotted a mountain range below and spoke up. Do you want to take a look? Lu Chongxing was not really familiar with this place called Heartless Ridge. His understanding of the Jin Kingdom was limited to the conditions of a few major forces. No need, this is a spirit land governed by the Five Poisons cult. I've been here before with Sister Xiaochan. Nangong Yaoyao spoke up, then began to introduce the situation here to Lu Chongxing. In this way the father and daughter laughed and chatted on the golden-winged heavenly peng. From the Immortal Spider Marketplace to the branch of the Myriad Beasts mountain range was quite a distance. But with the golden-winged heavenly peng, they reached there in just 7 days. This speed made Nangong Yaoyao exclaim in surprise. Is this the Myriad Beasts mountain range? She looked at the endless mountains ahead, slightly raised her head and said, Father, didn't you say there are many demon beasts in the Myriad Beasts mountain range? Why haven't I seen a single one? Lu Chongxing sometimes couldn't tell if his daughter was genuinely clueless or just pretending, and he laughed. Demon beasts are very sensitive to auras, with the aura of the golden ping permeating. Of course no demon beasts dare to appear. Besides, this is just the outer region of the Myriad Beasts mountain range, so the number of demon beasts isn't large either. With the bloodline effect of the golden-winged heavenly ping, it reigns supreme in the Myriad Beasts mountain range. Previously, when Lu Chongxing entered the Myriad Beasts mountain range to slay demon kings and seize spirit veins, he had to spend some effort. But now with the golden ping through bloodline suppression, it could make a third-rank demon king inexplicably weakened by 3 gates. Oh right. The young girl suddenly looked enlightened, then giggled adorably, her big eyes constantly looking at the mountain range ahead, filled with endless curiosity and exploration. Dad, could you catch me a mount? Sar the Novelier. Website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Suddenly she tugged at Lu Chongxing's sleeve, her eyes full of hopeful anticipation. No problem. Lu Chongxing smiled and snapped his fingers. The golden-winged heavenly peng immediately spread its wings in the air and shot towards the Myriad Beasts mountain range, tearing through the air. A third-rank demon king. How could a third-rank demon king appear here? From afar, the originally roaring and howling demon beasts were so frightened they shivered, unable to move. And some cultivators who were hunting demon beasts in the mountains had cold hands and feet, not daring to move, not knowing why a third-rank demon king appeared in the Myriad Beasts mountain range. It seems someone is on top of that demon king. Gasp. Could this be the spiritual pet and mount of a nascent soul immortal? To act so arrogantly in the Myriad Beasts mountain range, it's definitely not an ordinary nascent soul immortal. A Foundation establishment demon hunting team looked in awe, envy, respect and admiration at the distant golden-winged heavenly peng. If I could become a nascent soul immortal in this life, it would be amazing. Someone sighed in admiration and longing. A nascent soul immortal, You sure have big dreams. Even forming a false core would be enough to make my ancestors smile in heaven. Sigh, my wish is much simpler, just to earn enough spirit stones to settle down in Mingsha City. Mingsha City, really aiming high, a house there costs over 100,000 spirit stones. This group of Foundation establishment cultivators chatted and sighed for a bit, then continued to cautiously advance. My father is really something. Although Nangong Yaoyao had not been to the Myriad Beasts mountain range before, she had quite a bit of understanding about it. Seeing her father travel so blatantly, she was filled with emotion. During this time, her beautiful eyes scanned the surroundings to see if there were any decent demon beasts suitable as mounts. Actually, she didn't have much thought about mounts. If she truly wanted one, her mother Nangong Meili would have already prepared it for her. She simply thought that since they came to the Myriad Beasts mountain range, they should find something to do. Moreover, by frequently asking her father for help, she could give him a sense of being needed, thereby nurturing the father-daughter bond. Golden Ping, restrain your aura a bit. At this moment, Lu Chongqing spoke to the golden-winged heavenly Peng. If it continued emitting such spiritual pressure, apart from the third-rank demon kings, no demon beasts would dare to appear. And if he wanted to train his daughter by catching demon beasts, he naturally could only look for second-rank demon beasts. Even if he suppressed a third-rank demon king, his daughter could not possibly tame it. Even capturing second-rank demon beasts would prove challenging. Screech. The golden-winged heavenly Peng let out a prolonged cry, and its dazzling body dimmed significantly, its pervasive demon chi dropping from third rank to second rank. As a third-rank demon king, disguising its aura was naturally not a problem. However, under such a disguise, its strength and speed would definitely be affected. With the golden-winged heavenly Peng's aura restrained, occasionally some fierce bird demon beasts would appear, roaring and howling at Lu Chongqing, thinking he was invading their territory. The bloodline grade of these demon beasts was not bad, so Lu Chongqing began capturing and hunting demon beasts with his daughter. Occasionally, when encountering some suitable demon beasts, he would let his daughter try her hand, testing her abilities. The methods of the Five Poisons cult are completely not suited for direct combat. Lu Chongqing thought to himself as he watched his daughter engage a bear demon. Nangong Yaoyao's methods mainly relied on goo poison as the main tactic, with charm as a supplement. Facing such demon beasts, she was even somewhat restrained. It was far from the simple, direct, and efficient methods of sword cultivators or talisman cultivators. However, as she possessed the flawless heavenly fragrance body, she couldn't cultivate other techniques, so he just prepared more means for her. Ah, Father, help! Nangong Yaoyao cried out for help when she saw the bear demon unaffected by poison and continuing to approach her. Splat! With a flick, Lu Chongqing instantly killed the bear demon. Wow, Father is amazing! The young girl immediately looked at Lu Chongqing with adoration, her eyes sparkling like stars. This is a bit exaggerated. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1391. Lu Chongqing smiled and flicked her smooth forehead lightly. No way, it comes from the heart. Hee hee. Just like that, Lu Chongqing took his daughter through the Myriad Beasts mountain range, hunting demon beasts and searching for heavenly and earthly treasures as if they were on a sightseeing trip. Wow, Daddy, you're amazing. Woo, this roast meat is so delicious. How did you make it, Daddy? Daddy, there's another vein of minerals. During these days, Lu Chongqing's skills in spiritual slaughtering, spiritual cooking, and dragon-seeking technique were all showcased, making Nangong Yaoyao exclaim in awe throughout, sparkling with delight. Although her daughter's expressions bore some falseness. But one must admit having her around indeed made it a lot more joyful and it no longer felt boring. This day, outside the Immortal spider marketplace, a woman around 30 years old, with a breathtakingly beautiful and alluring appearance and stunning curves, dressed in a purple silk dress, descended from the sky looking hurried and somewhat travel-worn. Greetings to the heavenly spider envoy. Greetings to the Lord. The cultivators stationed at the market quickly bowed respectfully upon seeing this exquisitely beautiful woman. However, Nangong Meili didn't spare them a glance and transformed into a stream of rainbow light to swiftly enter the market after opening its formation. Normally, flying is prohibited in such marketplaces. But the rules naturally did not apply to Nangong Meili. After arriving at Immortal Spider Peak, she held the sensing talisman which remained silent, and a sudden ominous feeling surged in her heart. Master, you've returned? A moment later Meng Xiaochan hurried over, shouting with joy upon seeing Nangong Meili. Even though she had been comforting Nangong Yaoyao before, she was somewhat worried about her master's situation. Xiaochan, where's Yaoyao? Nangong Meili immediately asked. During her return she had a sudden ominous premonition. So after crossing the border she rushed back at full speed. But now seeing that her daughter Nangong Yaoyao was not in the market, the ominous feeling in her heart grew even stronger, her whole being tense with anxiety. Meng Xiaochan paused upon seeing her master in such a travel-worn state. After so many years together she knew her master cared deeply about her appearance. Even in the face of life and death crises with disguise and camouflage, she would maintain her looks and attire. Yet now her master rushed back so hastily and showed anxiety as soon as she returned. Clearly something was amiss. She hesitantly said, Master, Yaoyao is fine, she went out with Lu Chongqing for some fun days ago. What? Nangong Meili's stunningly beautiful face changed at these words. She had previously wondered if the ominous feeling came from Lu Chongqing. Unexpectedly it turned out to be true. Lu Chongqing had already arrived at the Immortal Spider Marketplace and had taken her daughter away. When did that bastard get here? Why would Yaoyao go out with him? Nangong Meili said immediately, her hands clenched tightly, with a vague nascent soul-level magic aura spreading. Lu Lang arrived here almost 2 months ago. Meng Xiaochan said. How is that possible? Nangong Meili exclaimed upon hearing this. She separated from him at the border. Even if his speed was slightly faster he shouldn't have arrived so soon, right? Unless he made no stops at all at the border and rushed all the way. But there was a piece of spiritless land on the way which would delay time considerably. Oh right, Master, Lu Lang said to give you this jade slip when you return. Meng Xiaochan, seeing her master in this state, knew something must have happened between them and Lu Lang. It's possible that her master rushed back in such a hurried and weary state, worrying that Lu Lang might lay a hand on Yaoyao. Could it be that master got thwarted by Lu Lang again? Meng Xiaochan thought of her master going to Jiang country, probably to trouble Lu Chongqing. Given that the Wind Centipede envoy had been subdued by Lu Lang, if her master had gone to cause trouble, it would be like an egg hitting a stone. Nangong Meili took the jade slip and with a divine sense check. Meili, your husband has gone out to have some fun with Yaoyao, don't worry. The jade slip contained only a simple message from Lu Chongqing. A gentle voice, but in Nangong Meili's ear, it sounded smug as if teasing. Lu Chongqing. Nangong Meili gritted her teeth, and the jade slip in her hand shattered into powder with a poof sound. Master, don't worry, Lu Lang has no ill will towards Yaoyao about the Wind Centipede envoy before. Meng Xiaochan quickly spoke up, recounting the incident where the Wind Centipede envoy had attempted to harm Nangong Yaoyao. What? The old ghost Tan dared to lay a hand on Yaoyao. Nangong Meili was taken aback by this, somewhat terrified. Knowing that Lu Chongqing had subdued the Wind Centipede envoy to avoid trouble, he took her daughter out to play and also to dodge the disaster. Her worry slightly eased. But thinking about Lu Chongqing being with her daughter, her heart was still uneasy. Xiaochan, what has Lu Chongqing been doing in the marketplace these days? She still looked worried as she asked Meng Xiaochan. Search * the novel Fire. Any *t website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1392, Myriad Beasts Mountain Range. On a cliff, Lu Chongqing was sitting with his daughter Nangong Yaoyao on a dark golden tiger skin rug. In front of them was a large cauldron, filled with dazzling light and flowing with purple mist, emitting a fragrant aroma. This was the meat of a third-rank demon beast, the purple flame Kuei ox, each piece of meat glistening with precious light. In addition, the pot was full of spiritual medicines and heavenly and earthly treasures. This was no longer just a spirit meal. It was entirely refining a cauldron of peerless treasure medicine. The fragrance of the medicine wafted through the air, and just one whiff brought a person to clarity and filled them with essence energy. This was something Lu Chongqing developed himself through spirit chef skills, alchemy skills, and the medicinal bath technique taught by Honglian in her early years. Simply put, it was about simmering various heavenly and earthly treasures and demon beast essences into a medicinal dish, then adjusting the taste through culinary skills. However, if other third-rank spirit chefs or spirit meal masters saw such behavior, they would definitely curse it as a waste of heavenly resources. After all, the blood and flesh of a third-rank demon beast was precious, and yet Lu Chongqing was braising it in one pot like this. Alright, it's ready to eat. Lu Chongqing lightly flicked his fingers, slightly withdrawing the Thunder Gang dragon flame under the furnace and smiled at his daughter. Woo! Nangong Yaoyao was already impatient, holding her jade bowl, picking up a piece of beef and putting it in her mouth without caring about her ladylike image. At first she was reserved and very elegant. But after spending time with her father, Lu Chongqing, who she knew to be unconstrained by trivial matters, living in the wild meant there was no need to concern herself with so many formalities. Daddy, it's so delicious. Nangong Yaoyao looked at her handsome father, her bright eyes filled with delight. This wasn't an exaggeration. Third-rank demon beast meat is considered an upper-class ingredient. And each time, Lu Chongqing selected the finest parts, with excellent texture, incredibly translucent and containing abundant essence energy. As soon as she swallowed, a surging medicinal force flowed through her body. These days, living with her father every day, feasting and reveling, she felt her cultivation foundation had become much more stable, and she could break through to the 5th layer of foundation establishment whenever she wanted. Eat as much as you like if you enjoy it. Lu Chongqing said with a smile as he served himself a bowl of soup to savor. Such medicinal dishes were in no way inferior to second-rank elixirs and could even be compared to some third-rank elixirs. Long-term consumption not only enhances cultivation, but also has effects like marrow cleansing and condensing one's physical foundation. However, at least a foundation establishment cultivation is needed to consume such medicinal meals. Ordinary people or energy-refining cultivators, even if they ate a little, might experience the issue of not being able to absorb the nutrients and having difficulty in digestion. Mum. Nangong Yaoyao ate with oil on her mouth, her face flushed, and her body radiated with crystalline dawn light as if bathed in a layer of divine glow. After eating enough, Nangong Yaoyao's blemish-free body suddenly burst with a dazzling aura, enveloping a mesmerizing fragrance, giving a flawless and pure vibe. Lu Chongqing noticed that his daughter's cultivation realm was beginning to break through on its own. With all the eating and drinking of these days, she had already accumulated abundant medicinal power, and it wasn't unusual for her to naturally break through her realm now. Daddy! Nangong Yaoyao called out to Lu Chongqing, setting down her bowl and chopsticks, and directly sat cross-legged to break through. She had long been able to break through, but had always been suppressing her cultivation realm. Since she was now reaching her limit, there was no need to continue suppressing. Focus on your breakthrough. Lu Chongqing softly said, instructing the golden-winged heavenly ping to hover above, so as to prevent anyone or any demon beast from disturbing. Boom! No one knew how much time passed before a surging mana flooded Nangong Yaoyao's chi ocean core, pushing her cultivation from the 4th layer of foundation establishment to the 5th layer. Siege Novel Fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Yaoyao, congratulations on advancing another step in your cultivation. Lu Chongqing looked at his daughter and smiled. It's all thanks to Daddy's feeding. The girl's tender face glowed with a slight blush, her eyes sparkling with a playful smile as she spoke. Ha ha. Lu Chongqing chuckled, knowing his daughter was already near the peak of the 4th layer, and he merely facilitated this step. Daddy, it seems like Mother has returned. At this moment, a jade token appeared in Nangong Yaoyao's hand, and she spoke to Lu Chongqing. Apart from the normal sensing talisman, she and her mother also had a sensing jade token to confirm each other's status. Now that the jade token was sending a signal, it indicated that her mother should have returned or was reassuring her of safety. Oh. Lu Chongqing raised an eyebrow, thinking to himself that Nangong Meili had returned sooner than he had expected. It's all right, I left a message for your mother, so there's no need to worry. If you want to go back sooner, we can also start the journey home now. Lu Chongqing could imagine Nangong Meili's anxious expression at this moment. Although he wanted to tease her a bit, he didn't intend to delay his return or take his daughter directly back to Jiang country. On one hand, when mother and daughter meet, the daughter would inevitably realize that his relationship with her mother isn't as great as she thought. So there was no need to do anything that might affect his image in his daughter's mind. On the other hand, Nangong Mili and the daughter share a deeper bond, and it would be impossible for her daughter to forsake her mother to go back with him. Also, through their time together, Lu Chongxing realized this daughter, though seemingly innocent and cute, was actually very perceptive and had her own ideas. If he were to reveal his situation unless Nangong Mili was willing to go to Bai Lake Mountain, she would likely not be willing to go to Bai Lake Mountain. But Nangong Mili would never agree to go to Bai Lake Mountain. Moreover, her personality wouldn't fit with Bai Lake Mountain. It would be like a fish out of water. If Nangong Mili ever decided to come to Bai Lake Mountain, even Lu Chongxing would feel uneasy, fearing she might cause trouble for his family. However, seeing that everything was fine with his daughter over here, Lu Chongxing wasn't as eager to take her back, feeling it best to go with the flow. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1393. Anyway, now that I have the golden-winged heavenly ping, I can come and see them. Don't worry, Yao, I'll arrange it accordingly. The young girl, unaware of her mother's anxiety, spoke obediently and adorably. Since that's the case, let's wander back or see if there's anywhere else you'd like to go. Lu Chongxing said with a smile. At this very moment, Nangong Mili learned about her daughter's matters with Lu Chongxing from Meng Xiaochan, feeling extremely furious. She thought to herself that this lousy man indeed had a belly full of tricks, and she had mistakenly thought he had changed. This lousy man's words contain not a single truth. Sitage novel, IR. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Nangong Mili clenched her teeth and cursed. Next to her, Meng Xiaochan, seeing her master's angry demeanor, couldn't help but detect a hint of a couple's quarrel in the conversation for some reason. Xiaochan, when Yao Yao returns, notify me immediately, I have to return to the sect. Nangong Mili, seeing that her daughter was not there, did not linger and planned to return to the Five Poisons cult to handle the matters concerning the envoy of the Wind Wasp. Moreover, since this trip was part of her mission, she needed to report back immediately upon her return. Yes, master. Meng Xiaochan responded earnestly. Nangong Mili returned to the Five Poisons cult and proceeded to the Five Saints Hall to pay respects. After a long time, the hall doors thunderously opened. Greetings, sect hierarch. Nangong Mili gracefully entered the grand hall, and upon seeing a little girl on the dais wearing a silver crown hairpin and a luxurious purple-red robe, barefoot and appearing 7 or 8 years old, she bowed. Heavenly Spider Envoy, you have returned. Regarding the matters in Jiang country, I am aware of the Tianyuan secret realm. Did you gain anything within? Despite the girl's tender and crisp voice, it carried a weight of authority beyond her apparent age. Reporting to sect hierarch, Nangong Mili immediately began to recount what she had seen in the Tianyuan secret realm. As for how she escaped the Tianyuan secret realm, she did not elaborate. After all, explaining nothing would lead the Five Poisons cult leader to assume she used her trump card and life-saving means to escape. However, leaving things vague or fabricating lies would make it challenging to deceive a nascent soul true lord. This matter will be recorded as a merit for you. The Five Poisons cult leader's face was smooth and delicate, and her tender voice was mixed with the authority of a superior. Even though Nangong Mili achieved no gains, the unexpected outcome of the Tianyuan secret realm meant she was still credited. Your return is timely. Recently I have had discussions with the Immortal Lotus sect. The girl looked at Nangong Mili and revealed a secret. Immortal Lotus sect? Nangong Mili's beautifully enchanting face froze with surprise upon hearing this. She had, of course, heard of the renowned Immortal Lotus sect, one of the top powers in the southern wilderness. Although the Five Poisons cult was considered powerful in Jin Kingdom, with a nascent soul true lord residing there, it paled when compared to top powers like the Immortal Lotus sect in the southern wilderness. Sect hierarch, has someone from the Immortal Lotus sect come for something? Nangong Mili inquired softly. Though the Five Poisons cult is a force of the demon path, compared to these top-ranked demonic forces, it was rather insignificant and had little contact on ordinary days. Now that the Immortal Lotus sect suddenly sent someone to the Five Poisons cult, it was clear something was afoot. This is not your concern. The Immortal Lotus sect came to select a few promising seedlings, to foster relations between our sects. The Five Poisons cult leader looked at Nangong Meili and spoke. Yes, sect hierarch. Nangong Meili asked no more and replied respectfully. Previously, Elder Tan's attack on Yao Yao, could it be because of this? As she walked out of the Five Saints' Hall, Nangong Meili's phoenix eyes narrowed, gleaming coldly as she muttered to herself. But thinking about the arrival of the Immortal Lotus sect, preparing to pick a few seedlings from the Five Poisons cult, her teeth gently bit into her lush red lips, her face changing erratically. Lu Chuanzhen, wearing a black cloak, was riding a flying shuttle with a Kunping vaguely visible beneath his feet, speeding madly through the sky in a rainbow arc. However, he hadn't gone far when he felt a chilling cold sweeping over him as if cold, eerie eyes were watching him. Looking up, he saw a white bone throne appear unexpectedly ahead. A thin old man with crimson eyes, a terrifying visage and a dark aura sat upon it. Ghost Demon True Master. Seeing the old man, Lu Chuanzhen was filled with horror, his muscles tensed. Hey, young one, I didn't expect you to recognize this seat. The black-robed elder's crimson eyes watched Lu Chuanzhen, leaning forward, his smile sinister as he spoke. As he spoke, Lu Chuanzhen felt shrouded by a chilling, sinister aura. From every direction, invisible ghostly hands appeared, gripping his limbs and throat, making him immobile and unable to breathe. Run, keep running, weren't you good at escaping, why aren't you running now? The Ghost Demon True Master, seated on the white bone throne, spoke with an icy voice that seemed to come from the netherworld hell, freezing one's soul. Lu Chuanzhen instantly turned pale, his mana in disarray, his muscles uncontrollably trembling as if cramping. This was the gap between foundation establishment and core formation. Even if he cultivated the Yin-Yang 5 Elements Kunping technique, and had numerous trump cards, even killing a foundation establishment peak, before a core formation true man, absolute power left him powerless. Young one, rest assured, this seat will not kill you so easily. I will make you wish for death, let you experience the pain of a myriad ghosts devouring the heart, and then refine you into my myriad soul banner as a tribute to my son's spirit. The Ghost Demon True Master's voice was cold as ice, his crimson eyes emitting chilling beams that caused Lu Quanzhen's body pain, and he groaned, coughing up blood. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1394. The gap is too great. The gap between foundation establishment and nascent soul is too vast. Even though he still had cards up his sleeve, he couldn't use them at this moment. Li old ghost, you turtle finally got caught by me. At this moment, a burly giant man standing over 10 feet tall appeared, looking at the Ghost Demon True Master. His voice was resonant, thundering like a storm, and he shouted loudly. Heaven-shaking old ghost, how come you're here? The Ghost Demon True Master's crimson ghostly eyes contracted when he saw this giant man. As a demon path true man, he naturally had many enemies. The giant man before him was one of his enemies, and a particularly feared one. He held a pitch-black gourd wrapped in sinister patterns in his hand, aimed at Lu Chuanzhen and unplugged the stopper. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, a great wind blew as if a ghostly figure emerged from the gourd, directly pulling Lu Chuanzhen into it. Facing this gourd technique, Lu Chuanzhen was completely powerless to resist. Caught by me today, let's see where you can run. See Teach Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The giant man looked at the Ghost Demon True Master, letting out a wild roar, his voice like the roar of 10,000 beasts, shaking the heavens and the earth, causing the air to continuously explode. The giant physique, towering over 10 feet tall, grew even more robust like a savage dragon, charging at the Ghost Demon True Master. Swoosh. The Ghost Demon True Master was well aware of the giant man's strength. Not only did he possess core formation middle stage strength, but he also had third-rank late-stage body refinement, making him absurdly difficult to deal with. He immediately used the white bone throne to flee. But the giant man who had spent so much effort even deliberately used Lu Chuanzhen to lure the Ghost Demon True Master, would not let him escape so easily. Boom boom boom. After exchanging several rounds, the Ghost Demon True Master looked at the giant man, who was as large as a hill and covered in demon runes, and coldly said, "Heaven-shaking old ghost, do you really think you can take this true man so easily? That's right, unless I beat the crap out of you old ghost today, count yourself lucky if you're clean." The giant man's every move carried terrifying force. The ghost demon true master, who had easily suppressed Lu Quanzhen's technique and divine ability earlier, found them completely ineffective in the face of the giant man, and could only keep fleeing. Meanwhile, inside the ghost demon true master's pitch-black gourd, Lu Qianzhen, being sucked into the gourd, instantly felt his body freezing as if plunged into an ice cave, and smelled an intense stench of blood and rot, making him instinctively uncomfortable. He looked at the situation around him, surrounded by darkness, with demonic qi, ghost energy and blood fiend energy churning and rolling. Beneath his feet was a pool of blood, seemingly eroding his vitality and essence blood. Bang! Lu Qianzhen made a gesture incantation with both hands. A small five-colored fish appeared in his palm, swiftly shooting out, colliding with the dark wall but causing no harm. This seems to be a magical treasure. To break out now would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Lu Quanzhen's expression was somewhat grim, knowing that with his current strength, breaking through this gourd was impossible. The only hope was for the other nascent soul true man to slay the ghost demon true master. But this person does not seem like a righteous cultivator. Even if he kills the ghost demon true master, he'd unlikely release me out of goodwill. Lu Qianzhen knew he couldn't pin his hopes on others and continued to assess the situation. This pool of blood and the blood fiend energy will continuously erode my physical body, depleting my mana and essence blood. At this rate, in just 10 days to half a month, it'll be turned into blood pulp. After a moment, Lu Qianzhen realized that this gourd was no simple object. He only had a few days left. If he couldn't escape the gourd, it would be a dead end. But considering the situation, even if he escaped the gourd with 2 nascent soul cultivators outside, it would be difficult for him to escape. Rather than sitting here waiting for death, I might as well take a gamble. He looked at the blood pool and blood fiend energy, his slanted eyes glinting with fierceness, making a decision. Previously in the Black Mist Swamp, he resolved the issue of toxic miasma erosion through the Kunping devouring heaven demonic technique taught by his uncle, narrowly avoiding danger. Now facing this predicament, he thought of this cultivation technique again. He planned to directly cultivate this demonic technique, using the blood pool and blood fiend energy here for cultivation. If his cultivation level broke through to foundation establishment late stage with his trump cards, he might be able to grasp a slim chance of survival. No sooner said than done. Lu Qianzhen didn't hesitate. He was already thoroughly familiar with the Kunping devouring heaven demonic technique, and after comprehending it deeply, he sat cross-legged in the blood pool, starting to operate this demonic technique. Buzz! As Lu Qianzhen ran his cultivation, tadpole-like pitch-black runes slowly surfaced on his body, and his 84,000 pores became like black holes, emitting a menacing and mysterious aura. Crimson fish appeared around him, howling and roaring, merging into a formidable and terrifying Kunping phantom. Roar! The Kunping let out a roar, opening its abyss-like mouth. Instantly, surging demonic qi, ghost energy and blood fiend energy rushed into Lu Quanzhen's body. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1395. Hiss! As soon as the qi mechanism entered his body, Lu Quanzhen's face showed a look of pain. Blood spots seeped from his pores on the flesh covered in mysterious runes. This demonic qi, ghost energy and blood fiend energy were violently chaotic, bone-chillingly cold and fiercely vicious, entirely incomparable to the poison miasma of the Black Mist Swamp he encountered before. In an instant upon entering the body, they frantically eroded and destroyed his meridians and flesh, as though being cut by knives and saws, causing him excruciating pain. Kunping devouring heaven. Lu Quanzhen's face was distorted with fierce contortions, and behind him the Kunping demon shadow roared and howled, emanating a dark blood glow, resembling a black hole, devouring the rolling demonic qi, ghost energy and blood fiend energy, refining them into the energy required for the Kunping demon technique. Boom boom boom. A series of resonant booms echoed within Lu Quanzhen's body, and intertwining blood-colored patterns spread across his skin, emitting a terrifying blood light, intertwining with the mysterious runes, looking eerily dazzling. He gritted his teeth tightly and began to operate the Yin-Yang 5 Elements Kunping technique. This cultivation technique is divided into 2 volumes, and they must be cultivated together for maximum power. Moreover, if one doesn't practice the Yin-Yang 5 Elements Kunping technique and only practices the Kunping Devouring Heaven demonic technique, it is extremely easy to go into deviation, affecting the mind and even suffering heavenly retribution. Buzz buzz buzz. As the 2 cultivation techniques operated simultaneously, small 5-colored fish swam out from his chi ocean core, flowing around his body, balancing with the Kunping demon shadow that emanated a dark blood glow. However, during this process, Lu Qianzhen realized something was amiss. At this moment, the preliminary fusion of the 2 cultivation techniques was affecting the efficiency of the Kunping Devouring Heaven demonic technique, preventing it from reaching maximum effectiveness. There is simply no time for me to merge the 2 cultivation techniques into one. Moreover, the presence of demonic qi, ghost energy and blood fiend energy here makes it difficult to maintain balance. Lu Quanzhen's body was covered in bizarre patterns, glowing with a dark blood light. Practicing the Kunping Devouring Heaven demonic technique was already extremely dangerous, necessitating finding a quiet place for closed-door cultivation. But now he was facing a life-and-death crisis, leaving him with no choice. There's no time to hesitate. If I can't escape before the ghost demon true master becomes alert, I will only meet a dead end. He did not hesitate and immediately abandoned the Yin-Yang 5 Elements Kunping technique to fully operate the Kunping Devouring Heaven demonic technique. Roar roar roar. The Kunping demon shadow opened its abyssal maw, letting out a roar as countless demonic qi, ghost energy and blood fiend energy flowed into the Kunpeng's black hole-like giant mouth, seemingly forging a black hole, making the dark blood light increasingly thick. Ugh! Lu Quanzhen's face was grimacing in pain, cold sweat streaming down, while his body covered in bizarre patterns seeped blood, making him look terrifying. Though this process was excruciating, he could clearly feel his cultivation rapidly increasing, about to break through to the Foundation Establishment 6th layer. Although this increase might lead to an unstable realm and shaky foundation, he deeply realized the terror of this cultivation technique. As long as one unleashed it with all their might, progress would be rapid beyond belief. No wonder Uncle warned me not to cultivate this technique before breaking through to core formation. Once this cultivation technique is practiced, it's equivalent to embarking on a path of no return. Previously, Lu Qianzhen believed he could maintain his integrity and not be lost by power. But now, cultivation is cultivating the mind. Only power is eternal. Undefeated power naturally nurtures an invincible mind. What I need now is the quickest power boost. Only then can I grasp a slim chance of survival. Lu Quanzhen's cold eyes glowed with a dark blood light, his expression firm. At this moment, concepts like foundation side effects and losing oneself were all thrown out of his mind. Because only by living can one consider other matters. 9th Heavenly Gang Wind Layer. A golden rainbow light ripped through the endless gang wind. Aware that Nangong Meili had returned, Lu Chongqing did not linger long with his daughter Nangong Yaoyao outside. After taking a few days to travel back, seeing his daughter's eagerness to return, he sped up to hurry back to Immortal Spider Marketplace. Buzz! At this moment, a rush of mana suddenly surged out of nowhere, causing Lu Chongqing to pause slightly. Who else has made a breakthrough? Lu Chongqing could sense that someone seemed to have broken through to the Foundation Establishment middle stage. But he remembered that none of the Foundation Establishment children should have been suitable for this stage. He silently pondered, opened the system and took a quick glance. Name: Lu Qianzhen. Lifespan: 60 of 169. Talent: 4th grade spiritual root. Cultivation level: Foundation Establishment 6th layer. Talent: Combat law compatibility 69%. Qianzhen has reached the Foundation Establishment 6th layer? Lu Chongqing was somewhat surprised. He remembered that 2 years ago his son Lu Qianzhen had just broken through the 5th layer of Foundation Establishment. To have progressed from the 5th to the 6th layer in just 2 years. This speed was indeed quite astonishing. However, he also noticed one thing. His son's lifespan had shortened considerably since before. As a Foundation Establishment cultivator, having only 169 years of life was undoubtedly a short lifespan. What has Qianzhen been doing these years? Lu Chongqing furrowed his brow. While it's true that many cultivators in the cultivation world use the life-burning secret technique in dangerous situations, search * the novelier. T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. It shouldn't be used frequently. Overuse would not only shorten life, but also affect the foundation, leading to difficult-to-solve after effects. Considering that his son was likely still in Jin Kingdom, he was considering letting Meng Xiaochan investigate later to find Lu Chuanjin. Otherwise, he really felt uneasy about his son's situation. Dad, what's wrong? Is something happening? Beside him, Nangong Yaoyao, adept at reading people's expressions, noticed her father frowning and immediately asked with a concerned and innocent face. Haha, nothing's wrong. Lu Chongqing smiled and said. By Lake Mountain. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1396. Why is it so lively outside? At Baiyun Peak in a courtyard, Yu Fei with a swollen belly heard the commotion outside and was somewhat curiously surprised. A moment later she knew it was because Lu ancestor's son Lu Xingchen was happily marrying a woman. Sister Yu Fei, there is a joyous event in the family today. Would you like to take a look? At this time Lu Miaoyun and Lu Chongqing came over, looking at Yu Fei who was holding her belly. Thank you, Sister Lu. My body isn't feeling well, I want join in the excitement. Yu Fei gently caressed her 9-month pregnant belly, shaking her head. Even though she was much older than Lu Miaoyun. But since she married Lu Chongqing as a concubine, she naturally called Lu Miaoyun's sister. Fair, take a good rest. I will come to accompany you later. At this moment, Lu Chongqing nodded with a smile, softly saying, then he left with Lu Miaoyun to Baiyun Villa. At this time Baiyun Villa was lit up and festive. Xingchen, congratulations. Congratulations, congratulations. Brother, happy wedding. Lu Xingchen was exceptionally talented, easygoing, and he was also a doctor and an alchemist, so he had very good relationships with others. Of course, Lu Xingchen was the first among the Lu family disciples to establish his family early after breaking through foundation establishment, so the Lu family paid much attention to this marriage. Greetings, Father Auntie. Greetings to the Mountain Master, greetings to the lady. Greetings to Lu ancestor, Lu Madam. Seeing Lu Chongqing and Lu Miaoyun arriving, all the Lu family disciples and guests immediately saluted respectfully. No need for formalities. Though Lu Miaoyun looked youthful like a girl of 16 or 17, she was graceful and composed with an air of dignity. With their arrival, the wedding ceremony began in an orderly fashion. Although it was not a grand affair with many guests invited, owing to the Lu family's reputation, surrounding family forces would come uninvited at the news. Not only to foster good relations with Bai Lake Mountain. Even meeting Lu Xingchen, the Lu family's alchemist, was worthwhile. First bow to heaven and earth. Second bow to the parents. Husband and wife bow to each other. Send to the bridal chamber. The atmosphere at Bai Lake Mountain is really extraordinary. Now with the elder Lu Chongqing in his prime and Lu Pingon such a body-refining talent and nascent soul seed present, there might indeed be hope for becoming a core formation noble family in the future. After Wang Yanjing and Lu Xingchen bowed to heaven and earth and were sent to the bridal chamber, she felt a little emotional. Then thinking about her family's current situation she sighed deeply. Sister Jing. After a long time Lu Xingchen, having finished offering the wine, came to the bridal chamber and saw Wang Yanjing, draped in a phoenix crown and rosy clouds robe, sitting upright, and called out happily. In their early years they called each other Daoist friends. But as they became more familiar, Lu Xingchen discovered that Wang Yanjing knew a lot and was aware of many things. So during their interactions he often consulted her and gradually began to call her Sister Jing. We are now husband and wife. Wang Yanjing spoke up upon hearing this. Oh, it's time to drink the nuptial wine. Upon hearing this, Lu Xingchen immediately realized, called the maid to lift the head cover with the jade balance beam, and then drank the nuptial wine with her. Wang Yanjing looked at the gentle and refined young man in front of her, slightly dazed, not expecting that she would choose to marry someday. She had met many men in her early years who were even more outstanding than Lu Xingchen. Yet at that time she was solely focused on cultivation with no thoughts of romance. This serious injury, her cultivation realm fell, living a simple life she never had early on, completely changed her mindset and thoughts. This must be the right person at the right time. Sir the Nelfer. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. With a smile in her eyes, Wang Yanjing thought this way. Sister Jing. After drinking the nuptial wine, looking at Wang Yanjing, Lu Xingchen laughed, showing his teeth. He also didn't expect that after saving her back then, they would become husband and wife. Call me wife. Seeing his silly demeanor, Wang Yanjing said with a hint of annoyance. Oh. Lu Xingchen hurriedly smiled and called out, wife. Husband. Wang Yanjing smiled gently, softly called him, her brows showing a bit of shy beauty, captivating beyond belief. As Lu Chongqing and Nangong Yaoyao returned to the Immortal Spider Marketplace, a purple silhouette shot towards them, embracing Nangong Yaoyao full of longing and worry and said, Yaoyao, are you all right? Nangong Mili, what do you mean by this? Lu Chongqing, seeing this scene, was instantly displeased. He had brought his daughter back at the first instance, yet she seemed so tense and defensive, as if Lu ancestor would harm his own daughter. Humph. Nangong Mili instinctively wanted to greet Lu Chongqing warmly. But thinking of her daughter beside her, she swallowed her words and snorted coldly. Mother, I'm all right. Daddy took me to the Myriad Beasts mountain range and even caught 2 spiritual pets for me. Nangong Yaoyao quickly realized that there seemed to be an issue between her parents, pretended not to know and cheerfully said with an adorable laugh. Myriad Beasts mountain range? Nangong Mili was surprised to hear this. It should be noted that from Immortal Spider Marketplace to Myriad Beasts mountain range, even with her utmost speed, it would take more than half a month. Yet Lu Chongqing and daughter Nangong Yaoyao took only about a month for their outing. In this time the two even had time to play and catch spiritual pets? At this moment, Nangong Mili could determine that Lu Chongqing must have some kind of flying magical treasure or mount, with extremely fast speed. Thinking about him having such a mount treasure, but not using it when traveling with her, Nangong Mili felt quite annoyed. Could it be that this vile man deliberately tormented me along the way? Recalling the journey, Nangong Mili felt humiliated and aggrieved, shooting a fierce look with her beautiful, clear phoenix eyes at Lu Chongqing. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1397. Yaoyao, I have something to tell you. She didn't look much at Lu Chongqing and immediately led her daughter away. Father. Nangong Yaoyao looked back at Lu Chongqing, blinked her big eyes, indicating she'd listened to her mother first. Although she was close to her mother, she had grown fond of Lu Chongqing as her father during their time together. Sarch * The Oval Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Seeing the relationship between her parents, she wondered if she could understand it better, perhaps act as a mediator to ease tensions. Go ahead. Lu Chongqing smiled. With his daughter around, he didn't bother to argue with this woman, Nangong Mili. Otherwise, he would tell her why the millstone was so red. Wait. Lu Chongqing remembered he still had the wind centipede envoy suppressed within his formless treasure wheel and called out to Nangong Mili. What is it? Nangong Mili's figure was graceful, with curves that were bewitching. Her seductive and charming face was as cold as frost, without a shred of friendliness. Bang! An elder with disheveled hair, looking battered and with a centipede scar on his face, was thrown to the ground by Lu Chongqing. Treating this wind centipede envoy, Lu Chongqing naturally wouldn't be as gentle as he was with Nangong Mili. To prevent the envoy from causing trouble within the formless treasure wheel, he directly punched him, breaking all his bones. Then, under the dual restraining and suppressing forces of the yin-yang qi grasp and formless treasure wheel, he also used the Tai divine soul to injure his soul, causing him to pass out entirely. This person previously caused trouble for Yaoyao. Handle this matter. Lu Chongqing said directly. He believed Meng Xiaochan had already told Nangong Mili about this, so he was too lazy to elaborate. I'll take care of this matter. Nangong Mili no longer showed a cold face, her delicate jade-like hand lightly raised, directly sweeping away the wind centipede envoy like a dead dog. Although this person was also an envoy of the Five Poisons cult, their relationship was not great. Moreover, he dared to lay hands on her daughter. If not for the rules of the cult, she would have directly killed him. Master. At this time Meng Xiaochan hurried over and called out to Nangong Mili. Xiaochan, I have something. Nangong Mili initially wanted to call her disciple Meng Xiaochan away too. But considering Meng Xiaochan was now affected by the Lockhart Gu, which had already influenced her soul. And since Lu Chongqing previously agreed to unlock the Lockhart Gu for Meng Xiaochan, she swallowed her words back. I have something to say to Yao Yao, so you entertain him for now. Nangong Mili spoke indifferently. Yes, master. Meng Xiaochan immediately showed a look of joy. During this period she was also troubled by the relationship between Lu Chongqing and her master. She felt caught between them, unsure of how to proceed. Upon hearing her master's words she felt relieved, sensing that their relationship was not as tense as she imagined. Xiaochan, I have something to ask you too. Lu Chongqing looked at Meng Xiaochan and said. Just yesterday through the system enhancement he saw that his son Lu Quanzhen's cultivation level had reached yet another breakthrough. From the 6th layer to the 7th layer of foundation establishment. In just a few days he had broken through from the 5th layer to the 6th layer and now to the 7th layer. This speed was simply astonishing. He naturally welcomed such things. But the problem was he noticed his son Lu Quanzhen's lifespan had decreased again. This made the situation somewhat bizarre. With cultivation breakthroughs happening rapidly, yet the lifespan kept reducing. So Lu Chongqing thought of investigating his son's situation through Meng Xiaochan to see what was going on. All right. Meng Xiaochan immediately took Lu Chongqing to a side hall, served him tea and water and inquired about his concerns. Xiaochan, I'd like you to help me find someone. Lu Chongqing spoke. Lu Lang, go ahead. Meng Xiaoquan's beautiful eyes filled with purple light, glimmered as she spoke with a smile at Lu Chongqing. Being with Lu Chongqing even if they said nothing filled her with joy. His name is Lu Chuanzhen, cultivation level at foundation establishment middle stage. Lu Chongqing flicked his fingers. A water mirror appeared, revealing the appearance of his son Lu Chuanzhen. Lu Chuanzhen? Meng Xiaochan looked at the image in the water mirror, her brows slightly furrowed, feeling she had seen him somewhere before but failed to recall. Oh, and he has a 6-winged golden silkworm. Seeing her reaction, Lu Chongqing added. What? A 6-winged golden silkworm. Upon hearing this, Meng Xiaochan immediately remembered seeing the person on a wanted notice somewhere and exclaimed, Lu Lang, has this person practiced the poison technique? Poison technique? I wouldn't know that. Why, have you seen him? Lu Chongqing, although aware that his son's cultivation method was the Yin-Yang 5 elements Kunping technique, hadn't seen him in years and was unsure about other aspects. I think I have seen him. Meng Xiaochan recalled chasing the person once, biting her lip lightly and said, recently, there was a cultivator named Chu Chongtun who was in some commotion because he was wanted by the ghost demon True Master. Since he had the 6-winged golden silkworm, I was also monitoring him and even encountered him, Chu Chong'un? Upon hearing this name, Lu Chongqing instantly determined that this person was indeed his son Lu Chuanzhen. After all, people don't use their real names when outside. And the name differed from his uncle's Chu Chang'e by just one character. It must be him. Xiaotan, tell me about the ghost demon True Master's wanted notice, what's going on? Lu Chongqing immediately inquired. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1398. Regarding this aspect, I'm not clear on the specifics. I only know that he killed the son of Ghost Demon True Master early on, thus being hunted by Ghost Demon True Master. Meng Xiaochan softly spoke. She knew about this matter because Nangong Yaoyao wanted the 6-winged golden silkworm, so she paid attention to the news in this regard. Then about a year ago, a message suddenly spread that under the pursuit of Ghost Demon True Master's disciple, Ting Li and a group of Foundation Establishment cultivators, not only did he successfully escape, but he also killed the 9th-level Foundation Establishment Ting Li, causing quite a stir. Ghost Demon True Master was furious and offered a core formation spiritual object and a blood ghost condensing evil pill as a reward for him. Meng Xiaochan continued speaking. Lu Chongqing was surprised to hear this. Unexpectedly, his son had caused such a commotion in Jin Kingdom. He was even hunted by a nascent soul immortal for many years, and had been pursued by more than 10 Foundation Establishment cultivators at most. At this moment he roughly understood the situation with his son's lifespan. It's likely that these years have been spent fighting desperately with others or on the run. With such a life, how can one not have a shortened lifespan? However, his son's battle achievements also astonished him greatly. Being chased by a 9th-level Foundation establishment and over 10 Foundation establishment cultivators, not only did he escape, he even killed one. Although he was not sure of these people's strength. But this, Ting Li, being a disciple of a nascent soul immortal, certainly has extraordinary strength, not the kind of trash Foundation establishment. Lu Lang, this person is. Meng Xiaochan looked at Lu Chongqing with worried eyes and asked softly. He is my son. Lu Chongqing exhaled deeply and said solemnly. Indeed. Meng Xiaochan was somewhat relieved that she hadn't pursued persistently back then. She lightly bit her lips, feeling a bit uneasy, saying, Earlier I didn't know he was connected with Lu Lang, so half a year ago when he appeared here in the Immortal Spider Marketplace, I also made a move against him. It's okay, Xiaochan, do you know where he is now? Lu Chongqing did not blame the other party. If Meng Xiaochan had known Lu Chuanzhen was his son, she definitely wouldn't have made a move, and might even have protected him. So, in this kind of matter he couldn't blame the other party either. Now he just wanted to know where Lu Chuanzhen was and what was his situation. The other party's cultivation level was breaking through crazily, yet his lifespan was constantly decreasing, indicating there was a problem with his current situation. Possibly he obtained some kind of fortune, but he might also have encountered danger. I'm not sure about this either, I'll send someone to investigate now. Meng Xiaochan immediately said. Alright Xiaochan, thank you, if there's any news inform me immediately. Lu Chongqing nodded. Seeing Meng Xiaochan walking out, he still felt a bit uneasy, took out a blood-tracking talisman, and smeared his blood and Chu Zhenshen's blood on it. But this blood-tracking talisman could only sense the location of Nangong Yaoyao, and could not sense other bloodlines, indicating that Lu Chuanzhen was either thousands of miles away or in some cave heaven's secret realm. Meanwhile, in another hall, Nangong Yaoyao, with an innocent and cheerful look, looped her arm around her mother's, concerned about her trip to Jiang country. However, when she mentioned her father, Nangong Mili's face immediately turned frosty, saying, Don't associate with this person too much. Why, I think Dad is quite good. Nangong Yaoyao became increasingly curious about her parents' relationship, trying to say something nice for her old father. And she took out the heavenly fragrance goo given by Lu Chongqing, saying, Mom, look, this is also a gift from Dad. Whatever you want, just tell Mom. Nangong Mili saw her daughter had only known Lu Chongqing for 2 months, yet she was already speaking on behalf of this scoundrel man. A few sour and jealous feelings arose in her heart. However, when she saw the pink, fragrant silkworm in her daughter's hand, her phoenix eyes instantly focused, noticing something amiss. This is. She held the heavenly fragrance goo in her hand, carefully examining it. At the same time, the goo insects inside her body awoke, transmitting a mysterious stirring aura. Heavenly spirit goo? Nangong Mili's stunningly beautiful face was now filled with a surprised expression. Although she was a nascent soul immortal, she still didn't possess a heavenly spirit goo. On one hand, heavenly spirit goo is precious and rare, extremely difficult to obtain. On another hand, it is far too difficult to acquire a heavenly spirit goo that suits oneself. If the goo insects aren't suitable for oneself, even if it's a heavenly spirit goo, it would be a waste of time and effort to cultivate. She noticed this pink goo insect exudes a fragrant aroma, making one feel refreshed and conscious. Instantly realizing this goo insect has a few matches with her daughter. This is from that scoundrel. Your father gave it to you? She looked at Nangong Yaoyao with a suspicious expression. It's known that heavenly spirit goo is incredibly rare. This scoundrel man not only obtained a heavenly spirit goo, but it also matched her daughter's constitution, clearly showing he spent significant effort, indicating he really does care deeply for this daughter in his heart. But the next moment she recalled the time they were together, knowing he constantly abused her, offering no gifts, yet he was so focused on their daughter. This scoundrel man's eyes are indeed only for his own children. Nangong Mili recalled how Lu Chongqing abused her with myriad ways back in the day, yet his attitude changed dramatically upon knowing she was pregnant, expressing tender affection, a wave of sourness and melancholy in her heart. Yes, Dad said this goo insect is called heavenly fragrance goo, and its effect is similar to my flawless heavenly fragrance body. Nangong Yaoyao introduced the effect of this heavenly fragrance goo to her mother with a bright, cute smile. On one hand, she was saying nice things for her old father. Sir, the novel Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. On the other hand, she was also recognizing the situation of this goo insect through her mother. Heavenly fragrance goo. During the fourth transformation, it requires divine fragrance and others' faith incense to nurture. Could this be destiny? Nangong merely heard these words, murmuring to herself in her heart. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1399. Through her daughter's words, she realized this goo insect was perfectly matched with her daughter. As long as this heavenly fragrance goo can be refined into a life-bound goo worm and properly nurtured, in the future her daughter's flawless heavenly fragrance body will reach an unprecedented level. Additionally, the effects of this heavenly fragrance goo are very similar to the heritage of the Immortal Lotus sect. Mother, what is this providence? Nangong Yaoyao blinked her big eyes in confusion upon hearing her mother's words. I've come to find you as there is something I want to discuss with you. Nangong merely took a deep breath and said earnestly. 5 days ago, an envoy from the Immortal Lotus sect, White Lotus True Monarch, came to the Five Poisons cult. This visit was partly for matters within the cult, but also to select a few people to go to the Immortal Lotus sect, to strengthen the relationship between the two sections. Nangong merely revealed the affairs of the Immortal Lotus sect to her daughter. Immortal Lotus sect? Why does this name sound so familiar? Nangong Yaoyao tilted her head, feeling it sounded familiar. The next moment, her starry eyes brightened, her pink lips slightly parted, and she asked, Mother, is it that Immortal Lotus sect that descends to the world and widely saves all beings? Yes. Nangong merely nodded, her expression somewhat solemn as she said, The mortal world is like a prison. All beings suffer, cycles of rebirth endlessly, troubles never cease. Pitiful are the people as the Immortal Lotus descends, to escape the sea of suffering, to forever enjoy peace and bliss. Lotus Holy Mother, pure land of the true family. The Immortal Lotus sect is one of the top-level forces in the southern wilderness, with a great true monarch overseeing it. During the righteous and demonic war, countless righteous and demonic cultivators were brought to the pure land of the true family by the Immortal Lotus sect. Yaoyao, you have the flawless heavenly fragrance body which is highly compatible with the Immortal Lotus sect. If you could enter the sect and obtain the sect's cultivation technique, Lotus Sutra of Worldly Salvation, there is a high probability you could break through to the nascent soul stage in the future. Nangong merely spoke, her phoenix-like eyes revealing a bit of longing. Although she was the heavenly spider envoy of the Five Poisons cult, she wasn't very confident about breaking through to the nascent soul stage. If her daughter could enter the Immortal Lotus sect, her prospects would far exceed those in the Five Poisons cult, making it highly likely for her to reach the nascent soul stage. If she's determined enough to become a holy maiden of the Immortal Lotus sect and receives strong cultivation support, reaching the nascent soul would be a certainty, and she might even aspire to become a great true monarch. Nascent soul peak cultivators are also known as great true monarchs by the world. In places like the Jin Kingdom, Jiang Country and Yu Country, these cultivation nations have never seen a great true monarch in thousands of years, all stopping at the early stage of nascent soul. Immortal Lotus sect. Nangong Yaoyao lightly pressed her delicate lips, feeling somewhat tempted. As one of the top-level forces in the southern wilderness, entering the Immortal Lotus sect would naturally be a great fortune. But if entering the sect means separating from her mother, the old demon earlier attacked you because of this, trying to prevent you from participating in the selection, reducing a strong competitor for his grandson. Nangong Mili's eyes glinted coldly as she continued. After learning about the arrival of the Immortal Lotus sect's envoy, she surmised why the Wind Centipede envoy would target her daughter. Others didn't know about her daughter's constitution, but as one of the core formation immortals in the Five Poisons cult, the Wind Centipede envoy was already aware that Nangong Yaoyao possessed a certain spiritual body, a bewitching body. This constitution was highly compatible with the heritage of the Immortal Lotus sect. If his grandson were to compete against Nangong Yaoyao, he would likely not be a match. Hence, he wanted to deal with Nangong Yaoyao to remove a formidable opponent for his grandson. Mother, the matter isn't decided yet. If I enter the Immortal Lotus sect as an ordinary disciple, then forget about it. Nangong Yaoyao said playfully without much sentimentality. If there's an opportunity and the conditions are good, she would naturally choose to enter the Immortal Lotus sect. But if it's just as an ordinary disciple, it would be meaningless. With my Yaoyao's talent, how could she possibly be an ordinary disciple? Nangong Mili's phoenix-like eyes shimmered with motherly warmth as she affectionately pinched her daughter's fair cheek. Most parents consider their children their pride. Nangong Mili was no different. And Nangong Yaoyao indeed was Nangong Mili's pride, whom she had high hopes for, believing her daughter had the potential to reach the nascent soul stage in the future. Hee hee. The girl in the purple dress giggled in the beautiful woman's embrace, then continued, Mother, you also haven't told me what's up with Dad. Is there some conflict? Don't mention that man. Now, when Nangong Mili heard her daughter mention Lu Chongqing, she felt a pang of resentment. After all, having raised her daughter for so many years, within just 2 months, she was speaking up for that despicable man, making her feel like her cherished child was slipping away. Earlier she could still say she could fulfill anything her daughter wanted. But that despicable man was clearly well prepared. After a barrage of sweet words and gifts, she was utterly defeated. If mother dislikes it, then Yaoyao won't bring it up, don't be angry. Nangong Yaoyao coaxingly hugged her, seeing her mother's demeanor. Nangong Mili, seeing her daughter's manner, immediately felt her heart soften, thinking that her daughter interacting with Lu Chongqing wasn't all bad. Although she cursed at the despicable man daily, through their long interactions, she also understood Lu Chongqing's character. He was very tolerant and forgiving to his own. Even though she went against him and cursed at him every day, aside from degrading himself, he did nothing much and even helped nurture her golden core. As for regarding children, he was impeccable. Sarch * the Nefire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If her daughter spent more time with this father, it would also be a good thing. But thinking of her beloved daughter having a cordial time with Lu Chongqing made her very uneasy, fearing one day her daughter might be lured away by that despicable man. But thinking about the matter of the Immortal Lotus sect, Nangong Mili gently stroked her daughter's head and softly said, Go say goodbye to him, then come back to the cult with me for a while. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1400. Nangong Yaoyao didn't bring up her father's matter again and obediently replied. Daddy. Nangong Yaoyao saw Lu Chongqing outside the grand hall, wearing a mystic robe tall and upright. She immediately ran forward and called out sweetly. Yaoyao. Lu Chongqing saw his precious daughter, immediately turned his head, smiled and called out. Then he looked into the grand hall where Nangong Mili, dressed in a luxurious purple gown with a tall figure, arms crossed, appeared haughty and arrogantly gorgeous. He thought to himself that this woman hadn't told their daughter too much about the matters between the two of them. Otherwise, if she really wanted the daughter to dislike him, it would have taken just a little embellishment, and there would always be a gap between father and daughter. However, having been together for so long, he also knew that Nangong Mili was extremely proud and doted heavily on her daughter, unlikely to do such things. Moreover, she had a tsundere personality that admired strife. With his persistent effort and conquest, her icy heart had melted a bit, only that due to her character she still put on airs. Daddy, did you do something to let mommy down? Why does she get angry whenever I mention you? Nangong Yaoyao said playfully with a face full of smiles. Having previously spent time with Lu Chongqing, she knew her father was amiable and talked naturally and with ease about her mother. Lu Chongqing glanced at Nangong Mili not far away, rubbed his daughter's small head with a smile and said gently, There are some small conflicts between your mom and me, but don't worry, Daddy will take care of it. He naturally didn't want their affairs to affect his daughter, causing any negative impact on her. Daddy, you really did do something to let mommy down. Nangong Yaoyao opened her pink lips slightly, looking somewhat surprised at her father. Then she wrinkled her delicate fairy-like nose and pouted, saying, Who told you to be daddy? Tell me what's going on and I'll persuade mommy later. As she spoke, she leaned closer to Lu Chongqing, her voice lowering, looking incredibly cute. Adults matters, children shouldn't fret over. Lu Chongqing chuckled and lightly flicked her fair forehead, saying, Bad daddy, I was trying to help, yet you still hit me. I'm not talking to you anymore. The girl puffed out her cheeks as if a delicate budding flower, her voice carrying a hint of playful grievance. All right, Daddy was wrong. Even though Lu Chongxing knew his daughter was just acting, seeing her so adorably aggrieved, his heart couldn't help but soften. As the saying goes, the crying child gets the milk. And this nature of Nangong Yao Yao, naturally endearing to people. Yao Yao. At this moment, Nangong merely saw her daughter chatting and joking with Lu Chongxing, even acting coy, and immediately called out unhappily. Her daughter used to only act coquettishly with her. Now she was doing it with this man, making her feel as if her cherished possession was being taken away. Daddy, I need to go back to the cult with Mommy and won't be able to stay with you for a while. Nangong Yao Yao stuck out her tongue cutely and said. Is there something up? Lu Chongxing was a bit surprised. He just returned with Nangong Yao Yao and now she needed to go back to the Five Poisons cult with Nangong Meili. It seemed quite coincidental. Mommy said an envoy from the Immortal Lotus sect is coming and we need to go over. Nangong Yao Yao explained. Immortal Lotus sect? Upon hearing the name, Lu Changsheng's expression slightly tensed. He had heard this name from Ling Zixiao. 1,000 years ago, 7 top-level demonic sects formed an alliance, waging war and sweeping across half of the southern wilderness cultivation realm. Among these 7 demonic forces was the Immortal Lotus sect. Logically, the Immortal Lotus sect was quite far from the Jin Kingdom, spanning several cultivation nations. Why would they come to the Five Poisons cult? Let's go, Yao Yao. Nangong Meili coldly called out, urging her daughter to follow. Goodbye, Daddy. Nangong Yao Yao, seemingly afraid of angering her mother, secretly transmitted a message, then waved her hand. Amichung. Lu Chongxing responded with a smile, planning to later ask Meng Xiaochan if she knew what was up with the Immortal Lotus sect. A moment later, Meng Xiaochan returned and informed Lu Chongxing that she had already sent people to investigate Lu Quanzhen's whereabouts. Not only through the channels of the Five Poisons cult, but also sending people to other marketplaces to purchase intelligence on Lu Quanzhen. All right, thank you for your hard work, Xiaochan. Lu Chongxing nodded, then asked, Xiaochan, do you know why the Immortal Lotus sect is coming to the Five Poisons cult? The Immortal Lotus sect is coming to the Five Poisons cult? Meng Xiaochan was taken aback, unaware of the matter. Upon seeing this, Lu Chongxing did not pursue the matter further. He planned to inquire later with Nangong Meili or his daughter Nangong Yao Yao. 3 days later, Lu Chongxing felt a surge of dense mana appear out of thin air. Through the system he saw his son Lu Quanzhen broke through to the 8th layer of Foundation establishment. This speed was beyond astonishing, utterly shocking. Looking at the system panel, seeing his son's lifespan reduced by another 13 years, he realized there was definitely a problem, a big problem. At this moment Meng Xiaochan came with news for Lu Chongxing. 3 months ago, Lu Quanzhen appeared at a black market on Black Demon Mountain, then his identity was exposed, leading to an assassination attempt. Moreover, there were rumors that the Ghost Demon True Master had emerged from seclusion, personally leading the chase against Lu Quanzhen. The Ghost Demon True Master personally took action? Upon hearing this, Lu Changsheng's eyes slightly narrowed, realizing his son was in grave danger now. His reckless cultivation advancement was most likely linked to the Ghost Demon True Master. Is there any intelligence on the whereabouts of the Ghost Demon True Master? Lu Chongxing immediately inquired. If Lu Quanzhen kept advancing recklessly, severe problems would surely arise. I have already dispatched people to investigate the movements of the Ghost Demon True Master, but it will take some time. Meng Xiaochan gently bit her lip, sensing Lu Changsheng's worry. Where is the largest intelligence organization here in Jin Kingdom? I'll go directly. Lu Chongxing took a deep breath and stated directly. Given his son's situation, he no longer had the patience to wait around for information. Lu Lang can head to the ancient secluded Immortal City and purchase related intelligence from the Shadow Tower there. Meng Xiaochan immediately suggested, introducing the situation of this Immortal City to Lu Chongxing. The fact that Lu Quanzhen appeared near Black Demon Mountain indicated he might be in the vicinity of that area. Alright, I'll head over. If you receive any information, immediately crush the jade talisman I gave you and it'll return at once. Lu Chongxing nodded, speaking in a deep tone. He then quickly left the Immortal Spider Marketplace, released the golden-winged heavenly ping, and looked at the map, rushing towards the ancient secluded Immortal City at top speed. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1401. 5 Poisons Cult. Amidst the swirling clouds and mist, on a mountain peak vibrant with colors, stood a temple resembling an emerald poison scorpion lying in wait. The great hall was strange and magnificent, filled with an aura of grandeur and antiquity, square in shape and covered with multicolored vines. Among the vines and trees, many snakes, insects, centipedes, and spiders crawled, making rustling, unsettling sounds that enveloped the entire hall in a mysterious and unpredictable atmosphere. Tap, tap, tap. At this moment, figures with solemn expressions and respectful demeanors ascended the jade steps, arriving before the temple. Mother. Today, Nangong Yaoyao's attire was entirely different from usual. A simple purple dress embroidered with snakes, scorpions, spiders, and butterflies. Her jade neck, snow-white hands, slender waist, and ankles were all adorned with exquisitely designed multicolored silver jewelry. Her long black glossy hair was braided into intricate plaits, and she wore an ancient heavy silver crown, lending her an air of enigmatic mystery. This was the attire of the 5 Poisons cult, only worn on significant occasions. Nangong Mili and other cultivators of the 5 Poisons cult were dressed similarly. However, compared to her daughter Nangong Yaoyao, Nangong Mili's dress and silver accessories were even more elaborate, luxurious, and heavy. Don't be nervous. Nangong Mili smiled at her daughter, indicating she needn't worry. Yet despite her words, she herself was a bit anxious. After all, what was about to happen might affect her daughter's future. Come in. A moment later, a crisp, youthful voice filled with authority resonated from within the hall. Yes. These people immediately bowed, then whispered a few words to the young men and women beside them, entering the hall with full respect and solemnity. The hall was vast and profound, with walls depicting lifelike goo insects, snakes, scorpions, and poison beasts, permeated with an indescribable scent of goo poison, causing their own goo insects to become particularly active at this moment. Greetings to the sect hierarch. Greetings to the White Lotus True Monarch. Greetings to the sect hierarch. Greetings to the White Lotus True Monarch. Greetings to the sect hierarch. Greetings to the White Lotus True Monarch. Upon entering the deep recesses of the hall, they immediately saw above, seated, a girl of 7 or 8 with a jade-like face, delicate and exquisite, and a figure like a goddess, seemingly bathed in holy light. However, they dared not look too closely, and upon entering they swiftly bowed, fearing to show disrespect. True Monarch. At this point, the 5 Poisons cult leader looked at the White Lotus True Monarch beside her, speaking with a touch of reverence. Though both were nascent soul true lords. Even among nascent soul there are ranks and distinctions. For a nascent soul cultivator like White Lotus True Monarch, even as merely an elder of the Immortal Lotus sect, her status, position, and strength were not something the leader of a cult like her could compare to. No need for excessive formalities, raise your heads. The White Lotus True Monarch's voice was like a gentle breeze, or like distant white clouds, soft and graceful, calming and refreshing, giving all the cultivators present a sense of relief, making their minds and bodies feel light and naturally serene. Is this the means of the Immortal Lotus sect? The cultivators of the 5 Poisons cult present naturally understood many strange and unorthodox methods. Through these captivating and alluring words, they realized the terror of the White Lotus True Monarch. A mere gesture could capture one's mental spirit. Is this the sect hierarch and the White Lotus True Monarch? Nangong Yaoyao slowly raised her head, only then seeing clearly the appearance of her own sect hierarch and this envoy of the Immortal Lotus sect. Though she was a disciple of the 5 Poisons cult, and her mother was the heavenly spider envoy of the 5 Poisons cult, it was her first time seeing the 5 Poisons cult leader. However, she already knew what the cult leader looked like, so she wasn't too surprised. But when she looked at the White Lotus True Monarch, her expression froze, somewhat bewildered. The White Lotus True Monarch was exceedingly beautiful, an illusion of beauty like a celestial being. Her white lotus long dress outlined endless graceful curves, and her skin was as snow-white as ice, emanating an indescribable dignified holiness. Her face, jade-like body, every inch of skin, even every strand of hair was exuding a flawless white sheen, as if bathed in a veil of holy light. At the moment she saw her, Nangong Yaoyao felt a holy aura coming straight towards her. Her physical body and her soul at this moment seemed filled with impurity, wanting to kneel before her to purify her soul. Not only her but other cultivators of the Five Poisons cult. Even Nangong merely felt a slight daze and a surge of inexplicable agitation upon seeing the White Lotus True Monarch. However, being core formation true man, they soon regained clarity, and a wave of shock surged within their hearts. It was too strange. The White Lotus True Monarch was truly too strange. Just sitting still, a single glance could influence their mental spirit. At this moment, they gained some understanding of the terror that was the Immortal Lotus sect. The White Lotus True Monarch had a faintly discernible holy smile at the corner of her lips, scrutinizing the people before her. When her gaze fell upon Nangong Yaoyao, her crystalline holy eyes flickered with ripples, her expression filled with wonder. Eyebrows like painted moths, eyes shining with stars, fragrant skin and jade-like complexion, carved from jade, immensely charming, utterly magnificent, radiant as spring blossoms. How can one person possess so many beautiful features? Wait, national beauty and heavenly fragrance. This is the aspect of national beauty and heavenly fragrance, merging various beautiful features. The White Lotus True Monarch looked at Nangong Yaoyao before her, examining her brows, eyes and facial features, her slender jade-like body, her beautiful eyes filled with a look of joyful surprise. This was not merely praising Nangong Yaoyao's beauty, but the observation skill of the Immortal Lotus sect. The cultivation technique of the Immortal Lotus sect placed great emphasis on appearance, even categorizing human appearance into ranks, such as flower-like looks, fresh as a lotus emerging from water, a face like a peach blossom, divine and bone-charming elegance, and icy skin and jade-like complexion, among others. Possessing any one of these beautiful features with charming technique cultivation would lead to achieving twice the result with half the effort and becoming a disciple of the Immortal Lotus sect. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1402. If one possesses various beautiful features, especially the higher tier features, it greatly aligns with the Immortal Lotus sect's traditions. Among these features, the exceptional beauty is paramount, a crown among the blossoms reigning supreme. Such a rare find even for the Immortal Lotus sect is something hard to come by. Too beautiful, truly too beautiful. Not only does she possess exceptional beauty, but she also has a spiritual body. Her entire being is flawless, pure and immaculate, her body fragrant. This is the flawless heavenly fragrance body. She kept observing Nangong Yaoyao before her, her beautiful eyes full of admiration and delight. Unexpectedly on this journey she encountered a candidate with exceptional beauty. If she were accepted as a disciple and taken back to the sect for proper cultivation, she would become a nascent soul seed for her branch. With such talent, this girl might even compete for the position of Holy Maiden in the future after breaking through nascent soul. The only regret she felt was that Nangong Yaoyao had already broken through foundation establishment. If she hadn't started cultivating or just begun, she would be impeccable. Beside her, the Five Poisons cult leader, dressed in a purple and red skirt and barefooted, followed White Lotus True Monarch's gaze to look at Nangong Yaoyao, her expression somewhat astonished. She was somewhat aware of Nangong Yaoyao's situation. 3 days ago, Nangong merely reported the matter of the winged centipede emissary to her. She stated that her daughter had the flawless heavenly fragrance body, hence she encountered the winged centipede emissary's attack. Initially she intended to speak favorably of Nangong Yaoyao, but didn't expect the White Lotus True Monarch to immediately take a liking to her. But even the flawless heavenly fragrance body wouldn't cause this true monarch to display such an expression, right? What is your name? Surrounded by a halo of holy light, White Lotus True Monarch approached Nangong Yaoyao, speaking softly. Replying to True Monarch, "My name is Nangong Yaoyao." Facing this White Lotus True Monarch, for some reason, Nangong Yaoyao felt a sense similar to when she first saw her father's true appearance. Like being in a refreshing spring breeze, a feeling of closeness and no sense of oppressive might. She understood that this was the charm technique cultivated to the state of being one with oneself. Nangong Yaoyao. White Lotus True Monarch smiled and said, "You should join my Immortal Lotus sect. Are you willing to be my disciple? What? This? With these words, everyone present was astonished, looking at Nangong Yaoyao with incredulity. No one expected that in such a short moment, the White Lotus true monarch would want to accept Nangong Yaoyao as a disciple. It's well known in the cultivation world, the master-disciple relationship is no trivial matter, symbolizing inheritance. Although many demonic path cultivators take disciples with ulterior motives. But the White Lotus true monarch here is a nascent soul true lord. The cultivator of this caliber whose words carry great weight, would unlikely do such a thing under the guise of accepting a disciple. At this moment, several core formation true men looked enviously at Nangong Meili. Nangong Yaoyao being noticed by White Lotus true monarch and accepted as a disciple would likely elevate Nangong Meili's status as the heavenly spider emissary in the Five Poisons cult. Other Qi refinement and foundation establishment disciples also looked at Nangong Yaoyao with envy and jealousy. Because everyone knows that coming here today is like a fish jumping the dragon gate. A chance. If noticed by White Lotus true monarch and admitted into the Immortal Lotus sect, becoming a bridge between the two sects, it equates to gaining the core formation opportunity, and in high probability, reaching core formation in the future. But Nangong Yaoyao was not only noticed by White Lotus true monarch but also proactively accepted as a disciple by her. What kind of fortuity is this? This is an unparalleled opportunity. Even Nangong Meili at this moment was in a daze, wondering if she heard correctly. After all, she was only confident her daughter could be selected for the Immortal Lotus sect, not expecting White Lotus true monarch to directly take a liking and speak of accepting her as a disciple. Being favored by true monarch, it is Yaoyao's great fortune. I wonder what virtue and ability does Yaoyao possess to be noticed by true monarch? Nangong Yaoyao lightly pressed her tender lips, her expression joyful, excited yet a little fearful and speechless. Little girl's disposition is quite admirable. Facing my acceptance, she doesn't immediately agree. White Lotus true monarch saw that Nangong Yaoyao wasn't as outwardly joyous and fearful as she appeared, but was actually questioning the purpose behind her acceptance. However, she didn't mind this and even nodded approvingly. After all, for White Lotus true monarch, accepting disciples is about talent and appearance, and also testing the heart and nature. But as Nangong Yaoyao possessed a spiritual body and had exceptional beauty, once taken back to the sect, all other nascent soul true lords might compete with her. So she bypassed the test of nature and directly spoke of acceptance. Do you know anything about the Immortal Lotus sect? White Lotus true monarch with a face of unmatched grace, her body radiating a dignified and concrete holy light, very sacred. The mortal world is like a prison. All living beings suffer, reincarnation never ceases, troubles never end, pity for the people, the lotus descends from heaven, escaping the sea of suffering, eternal peace, Lotus Holy Mother, true ethereal homeland. Nangong Yaoyao immediately bowed, a face full of respect, sincerely said. He he. White Lotus true monarch wore a faint holy smile, chuckled lightly, her voice seemingly close yet like coming from afar. Although the doctrine is so, she knew that her Immortal Lotus sect's image in the hearts of the Five Poisons cult and other demonic sections. My Immortal Lotus sect accepts disciples differently from other sects, valuing not only spiritual root talent but also appearance and features. White Lotus true monarch's voice was delicate, serene and comfortable, slowly said, features rank in levels, and among various beautiful features, the exceptional beauty is paramount. You have the exceptional beauty. She looked at Nangong Yaoyao and said, exceptional beauty? The cultivators present, while knowing of the Immortal Lotus sect, had little knowledge of it. Hearing this now, they realized it had something to do with appearance and looks. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1403. The appearance of Nangong Yaoyao in front of them is indeed flawless, with unparalleled beauty, admired by countless disciples of the Five Poisons cult. But merely being noticed for her looks by a nascent soul true lord is somewhat excessive, isn't it? Upon hearing this, Nangong Meili's emotions surged with excitement. She was confident that her daughter would join the Immortal Lotus sect, knowing that her daughter's spiritual body was compatible with it. But she never imagined that the Immortal Lotus sect would also assess appearances. And her daughter turned out to be the foremost among appearances. At this moment, a pride unlike any other welled up within her. After all, this was her daughter who perfectly inherited her peerless beauty. And your spiritual body combined with this heavenly appearance is a natural match, perfectly fitting for the inheritance of our immortal lotus sect, which is why I am also quite fond of you. White Lotus True Monarch smiled serenely and charmingly, her voice filled with poetic beauty, evoking an instinctive good feeling. Spiritual body. Cultivators present heard these words, their expressions suddenly clearing. They realized that Nangong Yaoyao's spiritual body was far from ordinary. Only thus could a nascent soul true lord speak of taking her as a disciple. Hidden really well. They looked at Nangong Mili, pondering in their hearts. All these years they had never heard talk of Nangong Yaoyao's spiritual body. Heavenly appearance. Nangong Yaoyao herself was also a bit surprised. She didn't expect her appearance to match the inheritance of the Immortal Lotus sect. Moreover, this White Lotus True Monarch said her spiritual body and heavenly appearance were a perfect match. Did she see her spiritual body at a glance? To know, when she was young, her mother had found an exotic treasure to conceal her spiritual body, making it impossible for others to see. Heavenly appearance, does that mean my mother is also like this? She said with a joyful and astonished expression, looking towards her mother, Nangong Mili. Mother. White Lotus True Monarch discerned the meaning in Nangong Yaoyao's words, reluctant to part from her mother. Your mother indeed possesses various beautiful appearances, surpassing in charm, brilliant, stunning in beauty, but lacks the heavenly appearance. She glanced at Nangong Mili, her voice gentle and calm, commenting. The Nangong Mili before her indeed had excellent looks, possessing various beautiful appearances. If she had joined their Immortal Lotus sect in her early years, she might have had boundless potential and could have been a true inheritor. But now that Nangong Mili had already formed a core, even if she joined the Immortal Lotus sect, she could only be part of the outer sect. And her visit to the Five Poisons cult this time wasn't to recruit people. How could she take someone else's nascent soul cultivator away? Moreover, Nangong Yaoyao was already an adult and she wanted to take her as a disciple, for complete dedication to the Immortal Lotus sect, requiring less contact with relatives. True Monarch, Yaoyao has now broken through foundation establishment. If she becomes your disciple, will there be any effects? Nangong Yaoyao gently pursed her lips and continued to speak, looking somewhat apprehensive. Your cultivation technique is also in line with our Immortal Lotus sect. As long as you are willing to become my disciple, I can make an exception to open the Immortal Lotus pool for you, cleanse the mundane, refine your Tao foundation, and perfectly turn your cultivation to our Immortal Lotus sect's inheritance. White Lotus True Monarch heard that the girl was negotiating for herself and she did not mind. On one hand, such a talent indeed warrants her resource investment in nurturing. On the other, in her view, knowing to seek benefits for oneself is a good thing. In the cultivation world, what doesn't require you to fight for? Those who are strong remain strong. Only by daring to fight must one fight, can climb to the peak of the immortal path. If timid and weak, mediocre in character, choosing to become a disciple in ignorance, she might look down upon it. Moreover, her visit to the Five Poisons cult was to lay out future plans. In the event of a future great tribulation, her disciples must dare to fight. Only thus can they emerge in the future great tribulation, becoming the holy maiden of the Immortal Lotus sect, securing enough benefits for her White Lotus lineage. However, the other cultivators present saw that Nangong Yaoyao, when faced with the offer to become a disciple of the True Monarch, hesitated and asked conditions, wiping a sweat out of nervousness for her. Feeling the girl was unappreciative, yet also bold and audacious, filled with demon nature. Yaoyao. Nangong Mili called out anxiously, fearing her daughter would continue to delay and offend the White Lotus True Monarch. After all, the Immortal Lotus sect is originally a demon path sect, extremely treacherous. Present before them was the White Lotus True Monarch, a demon true man yet exuding a holy light as if purifying others' bodies and souls, also full of evil intent. She was truly afraid her daughter would anger her. If she were to act against her daughter, even as her mother, she couldn't stop her. Yaoyao was momentarily anxious and curious. Please don't blame her, master. Upon hearing this, Nangong Yaoyao quickly turned around and said. In her words, she promptly knelt before the White Lotus True Monarch, solemnly performing the disciple ceremony. Disciple Nangong Yaoyao pays respects to master. How is this wrong? Taking on disciples is not a one-sided word. White Lotus True Monarch said with a smile, extending a hand glowing with holy white light to gently lift Nangong Yaoyao up, saying, "Since you are willing to be my disciple upon returning to the sect, this master will hold a disciple ceremony for you." For a nascent soul true monarch like her to take on disciples, it is naturally no small matter and requires informing the sect. Besides this, she also intended to assess Nangong Yaoyao further, to see the specific temperament of the other, and decide if she would be an ordinary disciple, or an intimate true inheritor, whether to hold a grand disciple ceremony. "Thank you, master." Nangong Yaoyao immediately responded with a face of obedient compliance. However, everyone present knew that this girl was not as innocent and carefree as she appeared on the surface. "5 poisons true monarch, thanks to your luck, I have accepted an excellent disciple. These few individuals I will take to the Immortal Lotus sect, and in time the two families may visit frequently." At this time White Lotus True Monarch looked to the 5 poisons cult leader beside her. Though these individuals were intended for her selection, to be taken to the Immortal Lotus sect. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1404. But her choice to take in apprentices had a different meaning. To repay this favor she brought everyone along. "Thank you, true monarch." The others, upon hearing this, were overjoyed, never expecting that they would all be chosen. "True monarch is too courteous." The young girl smiled and said. Those who were brought along were all disciples with deep roots in the 5 poisons cult, carrying profound emotions. Even if they joined Immortal Lotus sect with their hearts inclined towards it in the future, they still had family and elders in the 5 poisons cult. Therefore there would be some ties between the two sects in the future. Afterwards she looked at Nangong Mili dressed in a purple gown and said, "Heavenly Spider Envoy, you have given birth to a good daughter." Now that Nangong Yaoyao had become a disciple under White Lotus True Monarch, her importance to Nangong Mili rose a level higher. That Yaoyao could become a disciple under the True Monarch is her fortune. Nangong Mili replied respectfully. "You possess various talents and are destined to have a connection with our Immortal Lotus sect. Here is a cultivation technique inheritance and a magical treasure for you. If you succeed in your cultivation in the future, you can come to the Immortal Lotus sect, and I will bestow upon you another opportunity." Hearing this, White Lotus True Monarch looked at Nangong Mili, raised her jade hand lightly, and placed a cultivation technique inheritance and a pure white lotus in front of her. Since she intended to take in apprentices, she naturally wanted to leave a good impression on both sides. Of course, this inheritance and magical treasure also served as a message to Nangong Mili, indicating that before her cultivation took shape, she shouldn't come to Immortal Lotus sect seeking her own disciple. "Thank you, true monarch." Nangong Mili understood the meaning behind this and dared not refuse, accepting the jade slip and treasure with respect. "My disciple, say farewell to your family and friends." White Lotus True Monarch looked at Nangong Yaoyao, then at the others and said indifferently, "You all can go as well." "Thank you, master." "Thank you, true monarch." Nangong Yaoyao and the other 5 respectfully saluted. Afterwards, these people looked at Nangong Yaoyao, all carrying a fawning expression. Even though previously in the 5 poisons cult, their status was on par with Nangong Yaoyao. But now that Nangong Yaoyao was taken as a disciple by White Lotus True Monarch, there was a vast difference in their identities. "Mother, Yaoyao won't be able to accompany you from now on." After Nangong Yaoyao and Nangong Mili walked out of the main hall, her eyes turned slightly red as she spoke. "You've been intelligent and understanding since childhood, but upon going to Immortal Lotus sect, you must speak and act with caution and earn the true monarch's favor." Nangong Mili's eyes were also red, her face full of reluctance. Her daughter was raised by her side since childhood, the longest separation being her recent journey to the Tianyuan secret realm. Having just returned from Jiang country, she now had to part with her daughter again. And who knows how long it will be before they reunite. "Mother, I also wish to bid farewell to father." Nangong Yaoyao lightly bit her lip, looking at her mother. "All right, mother will take you there." Nangong Mili did not scold her daughter, and directly summoned a magical treasure, taking her daughter headlong towards the Immortal Spider Marketplace, lest they delay White Lotus True Monarch's time. Nangong Meili and her daughter Nangong Yaoyao arrived at the Immortal Spider Marketplace, only to discover that Lu Chongqing had left. Ancient secluded Immortal City? What is he doing going to ancient secluded Immortal City? Nangong Meili frowned slightly, voicing her thoughts. The Chu Chongtian wanted by the Ghost Demon True Master is Lu Lang's son. Lu Lang heard that Ghost Demon True Master personally went to hunt down Chu Chongtian, so he planned to go to ancient secluded Immortal City to find the Shadow Tower to purchase intelligence on Ghost Demon True Master, hoping to locate Chu Chongtian. Explained Meng Xiaochan. Huh. Nangong Yaoyao was stunned and somewhat bewildered. Unexpectedly, the black-robed youth with the six-winged golden silkworm was her half-brother? That Chu Chongtian is my brother? She looked at Meng Xiaochan in astonishment. Indeed, his real name is Lu Chuanzhen, Lu Lang's son. Meng Xiaochan shook her head with a wry smile, then said softly, Yao Yao, I told Lu Lang about this and we didn't know his identity back then, so when you meet him in the future just apologize. Lu Chuanzhen? How many sons and daughters does this useless man have? Nangong Meili was also somewhat surprised. She had heard about the events concerning Chu Chongtian from Meng Xiaochan in the past and had paid a little attention. Knowing this person's extraordinary prowess. As a loose cultivator, despite being wanted by Ghost Demon True Master, he not only remained unscathed but even rose powerfully. Unexpectedly, he was also Lu Changsheng's son. Back in Jiang country, she had dug into Lu Changsheng's detailed information. She knew he had a body-refining genius son named Lu Pingon who reached near third-rank body refining in just 60 years. A truly astonishing feat. He also had a daughter named Lu Wangshu, who inherited this useless man's so-called talismanic inheritance, and shortly after breaking through to Foundation Establishment, defeated 6 Foundation Establishment cultivators alone. Even if these 6 were mere weaklings at Foundation Establishment, it was still quite remarkable. Besides these 2, she learned that Lu Chongqing had another son named Lu Qingshan. This son was exceptionally talented in the Sword Dao, joined Yu country's Jinyang sect, and once went to the Heavenly Sword sect to challenge their sword, emerging unmatched among peers. In this circumstance there was now another son named Lu Chuanzhen. Counting her own daughter Nangong Yaoyao, this useless man seems to have struck a streak of incredible luck to have so many prodigious offspring. Imagine an ordinary family with just one such child could thrive for 100 years. With 5 at once, not even an ancestral grave erupting would be this exaggerated, would it? Even if this useless man possesses an unparalleled Taoist body, isn't this overly exaggerated? Besides, isn't his Taoist body supposed to specialize in dual cultivation? Why is his fertility also so astonishing? Nangong Meili murmured to herself. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1405. She had long suspected that Lu Chongqing possessed a rare Taoist body. Especially after seeing Lu Chongqing break through core formation, she was even more convinced of it. But the more she understood Lu Chongqing, the more bewildered she became, unable to see through him. She felt that even a Taoist body couldn't explain this troublesome man's situation. This troublesome? How long has it been since Lu Chongqing left? Send a message for him to come quickly. Nangong Meili didn't think much, her face cold and striking. She immediately said. Although she didn't want Lu Chongqing to have contact with her daughter, she felt that since her daughter was about to leave for the Immortal Lotus sect, she should bid farewell to him. Yes, master. Meng Xiaochan saw her master's urgent expression and didn't ask further, immediately crushing the jade talisman given to her by Lu Chongqing. Sister Xiaochan, I will soon be heading to the Immortal Lotus sect. I came this time to say goodbye to you. At this moment, Nangong Yaoyao looked at Meng Xiaochan and spoke softly. Although she always called Meng Xiaochan sister, in her heart, the other also held a mother-like presence. In daily care and affection she received no less than from her mother Nangong Meili. Going to the Immortal Lotus sect? Meng Xiaochan was surprised. Only the higher-ups of the 5 Poisons cult knew about the arrival of the White Lotus True Monarch. Even Meng Xiaochan was unaware of this matter. Yes. Nangong Yaoyao gently pursed her pink lips and briefly explained the matter of the White Lotus True Monarch. Meng Xiaochan paused for a moment, then squeezed out a few smiles, saying with reluctance, Yao Yao, congratulations. Once you go to the Immortal Lotus sect, you must take good care of yourself. She gently stroked the girl's black silky hair, advising softly. Even though she knew the girl was very intelligent, she was still very worried. After all, in all these years Nangong Yao Yao had never left her or Nangong Mili. Don't worry, Sister Xiaochan. Nangong Yao Yao said with a smile, not with the usual cute and obedient look, but rather bright and charming. Meng Xiaochan looked at the girl in the purple dress in front of her, as if she had suddenly matured a lot. The three of them waited for Lu Chongqing, chatting in the meantime. Then Nangong Yao Yao looked at her mother and said, "Mother, there are some words that I originally shouldn't say. But since I'm going to the Immortal Lotus sect this time and I don't know when I'll see you again, I hope you can be happier." Nangong Yao Yao pursed her lips and spoke softly. "It's nothing, Yao Yao, whatever you have to say, just say it, mother is listening." Nangong Mili's mood was somewhat low, but her eyes were full of affection. "I may not know exactly what's going on between you and father, but I can guess a bit. Through these days of being together, I can see that father, although easygoing in nature, is actually very proud, and even if he feels indebted to you, he's unlikely to completely lower himself and apologize. Your character is similar in that you won't step back an inch either. I'm not asking you to forgive father, just hoping you can each take a step back. It would be good for both you and father." Nangong Yao Yao looked at her mother and spoke softly. Although she usually appeared innocently naive and clueless, it didn't mean she was truly simple-minded. She saw many things clearly and thoroughly. It's just that such an appearance can be deceiving, and she enjoyed being the eternal child before her mother. Nangong Mili's jade-like face momentarily froze, then she gently caressed her daughter's cheek with some relief, nodding, "All right, mother will listen to Yao Yao. Actually, father is quite easy to appease, mother, you just need to say a few nice words." Of course, Yao Yao knows mother won't say it, but father feels guilty towards mother, so as long as mother slightly lowers herself, father will probably realize it, be willing to back down a bit, and then mother needs to step back just a bit more. Nangong Yao Yao linked arms with her mother, restoring her usual innocent and lively demeanor, pinching the air between her thumb and index finger, speaking in a somewhat coquettish tone. All right, at this moment Nangong Mili also felt that her daughter had grown up. Pinching her fair cheek, she said, smiling. On the side, Meng Xiaochan was somewhat anxious hearing this. She thought to herself that only Nangong Yao Yao dared to say these words. If someone else said it, master would definitely be furious. However, she felt that something unknown must have happened between master and Lu Lang during this trip to Jiang country, as her attitude had changed. No one knew how long had passed when Nangong Mili looked at her anxious-looking daughter and softly said, "Yao Yao, it's time to go back." Nangong Yao Yao didn't speak, and after a while she looked at Meng Xiaochan with a bit of loss and said, "Sister Xiaochan, please give this jade slip to father at the right time." "All right, Yao Yao, rest assured." Meng Xiaochan took a deep breath and nodded, but inwardly she sighed a little. Nangong Yao Yao's trip to the Immortal Lotus sect might mean she won't be back for decades, and returning isn't easy. Lu Lang had just reunited with Yao Yao, but now they have to separate again, not knowing when they will meet next. "Let's go, mother." Nangong Yao Yao said to her mother, not wanting to delay any longer. Even though the White Lotus True Monarch valued her greatly, delaying too long might leave a bad impression. All right. Just as the two were stepping out of the Immortal Spider Marketplace, a figure suddenly descended from above. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1406. Lu Chongqing hurried back to the Immortal Spider Marketplace and saw Nangong Mili and Nangong Yao Yao in their intricate purple dresses. He was slightly taken aback and quickly called out, "Yao Yao, Mili? Daddy." Upon hearing this, Nangong Yao Yao's expression was full of delight. Nangong Mili beside her was also startled, feeling relieved in her heart. "Yao Yao, what brings you here?" Lu Chongqing noticed something rushed in Nangong Mili and his daughter's expressions. "Daddy, I came here to say goodbye to you." Nangong Yao Yao tightly clasped her dress, lightly biting her lip as she spoke. "Goodbye." Lu Chongqing furrowed his brows slightly. He had only recently arrived in the Jin Kingdom. Why was his daughter already saying goodbye? Yesterday, an envoy from the Immortal Lotus sect, White Lotus True Monarch, accepted me as a disciple. I will soon be heading to the Immortal Lotus sect, so I can't stay by your and mother's side anymore. The girl in the purple dress raised her delicate head slightly, her star-like beautiful eyes turning red. Immortal Lotus Sect. White Lotus True Monarch. Lu Chongqing had initially wanted to ask why the Immortal Lotus Sect came to the Five Poisons cult. Unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, his daughter was chosen by the nascent soul true lord of the Immortal Lotus Sect and taken as a disciple. Nangong Yaoyao pressed her tender lips together, briefly explaining the situation of the Immortal Lotus Sect. Then with a bright smile she assured her father not to worry and that she would take good care of herself. Sigh. Lu Chongqing let out a sigh. In fact, for his daughter to join the Immortal Lotus Sect and become a disciple of a nascent soul true lord was a good thing for him. This indicated that his daughter would undoubtedly form her core in the future, and there was a considerable chance of breaking through to nascent soul. But going to such a sect affiliated with the demons, he ultimately felt uneasy. Yet the matter had been settled and he was unable to change it. Daddy, don't be sad. Once Yao Yao's cultivation is fruitful, he'll come back to visit you and mother. The girl glanced around, her smile blossoming like a flower as she spoke. While speaking, she reached out her slender lily-white hand holding Lu Changsheng's hand, moving beside her mother and said innocently, Yao Yao's only hope is that when I return, he'll see you and mother living in harmony. Then she held her mother's fair hand, placing both hands together. All right. Lu Chongqing chuckled softly, thinking what father wouldn't love such an understanding little girl? This moment, Nangong Mili didn't resist. She didn't curse Lu Chongqing, nor did she fling his hand away, allowing her daughter to do so. Afterward, Nangong Yaoyao felt as though something was still missing. She pondered slightly and quietly said to Lu Chongqing, Daddy, now is not the time to use disguise and camouflage. Lu Chongqing was taken aback and laughed silently, his elegant, handsome face flowing with chaos energy, revealing his true self. If Daddy wishes to join the Immortal Lotus Sect, maybe even the sect's supreme elder would accept you as a disciple. Nangong Yaoyao, looking at her father whose demeanor was as radiant as jade, as handsome as an immortal, blinked playfully and teased. Though she said it jokingly, it wasn't entirely a jest. Mainly because Lu Changqing's aura was so extraordinary. Like an elegant orchid, a banished immortal appearing in the world, making people feel as if bathed in spring breeze, captivating hearts, evoking a sense of closeness. Next to him, Nangong Mili, although displeased with Lu Chongqing, also recognized her daughter's words. Though Lu Changsheng's aura might not be as sanctified as that of White Lotus True Monarch, directly touching others' bodies and souls, yet he was not far off. Previously in the Tianyuan secret realm, she was influenced by this man's demeanor. In her view, with his character, should he break through to nascent soul in the future, his charm might even surpass that of White Lotus True Monarch. Yao Yao, when you reach the Immortal Lotus Sect, you must take good care of yourself. If you encounter any troubles, endure patiently and write to me. Lu Chongqing smiled, gently and warmly patting his daughter's head. Then he took out a thick stack of talismans from his storage ring and said, When you travel outside, be careful. You're lacking in means, these talismans can serve as your protection. Daddy. Nangong Yaoyao was stunned by so many talismans. Previously in the Myriad Beasts mountain range, Lu Chongqing had said her offensive techniques were somewhat lacking and suggested she keep more talismans for protection, giving her a stack back then. Now he gave her another thick stack amounting to 40 or 50 talismans. Moreover, they appeared to be second-rank top-level and third-rank talismans. Nangong Mili beside him was also surprised at Lu Changsheng's generosity. After all, third-rank talismans were rare. Even she found it difficult to procure tens of them at once. So, is this man truly a talisman cultivator? Nangong Mili glanced at Lu Chongqing with astonished beautiful eyes. Within these are the complete 6 Desires Heart Demon technique, which you must carefully study during cultivation, be patient and not rush. Also, this cultivation technique named Immortal Beauty Technique, it will aid you on your journey to the Immortal Lotus Sect. If necessary, you may submit it to the sect in exchange for benefits. Lu Chongqing then took out 2 jade slips, handing them to his daughter. He had previously taught her the first 2 levels of the 6 Desires Heart Demon technique. Now, since she was about to head to the Immortal Lotus Sect, he withheld nothing. As for the Immortal Beauty technique, given her daughter's looks, she might not need it. But since the Immortal Lotus Sect valued this aspect, he thought he would try to provide some assistance to his daughter. If it didn't work, the benefits from exchanging this cultivation technique at the sect should be significant. Daddy. Nangong Yaoyao's eyes looked dazed, clearly feeling her father's selfless love, deeply touched. It's alright, going to the Immortal Lotus sect doesn't mean you can't come back. If you don't have time, your mother and I can visit you at the Immortal Lotus sect. Lu Chongqing smiled and said, glancing at Nangong Mili again, squeezing her smooth hand. Yes, Yaoyao, you should accept it. Your mother can also come to the Immortal Lotus sect to visit you in the future. Nangong Mili didn't pull away from Lu Chongqing, echoing his words, her beautiful eyes full of love. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1407. Seeing Lu Changsheng's genuine affection for his daughter with no ulterior motives, her opinion of Lu Chongqing changed somewhat. She thought that if this dog of a man wasn't so full of sweet talk and inclined towards lust, he might not be so bad. The young girl saw that her parents' relationship had eased considerably, her smile was as beautiful as a flower. Then, full of apologies, she said to Lu Chongqing, Daddy, I already know about Chuanzhen brother's situation. If you find him, please apologize on my behalf. Yaoyao didn't intend to hurt him back then. It's all right, no conflicts, no acquaintances. In the future, Daddy will introduce you both to each other. Lu Chongqing said with a smile. Nangong Yaoyao nodded vigorously. Then she looked at her mother, batting her eyes, appearing pitifully. Mom, if you have the time, please help look for Chuanzhen brother too. He's wanted by the ghost demon True Master and it's very dangerous. Nangong Mili knew her daughter was giving her an out, creating a chance to ease relations with Lu Chongqing. In the past she absolutely wouldn't care. In fact, she thought if not killing Lu Changsheng's son that would already be pretty good, yet asking for help? But now, seeing her daughter's hopeful gaze, her beautiful phoenix eyes were full of gentle ripples. She nodded and agreed, all right. Thank you, Mom. Nangong Yaoyao immediately said happily. What's this about thanking your mom? Nangong Mili's voice was gentle, her face full of doting affection, without the slightest trace of her old witch-like demeanor. However, when she looked at Lu Chongqing, she immediately had a cold and noble expression with an indifferent voice. They'll take Yaoyao back and then send someone to investigate the information regarding Lu Chuanzhen. If there's any news, they'll rush over immediately. You can continue on to the ancient secluded Immortal city. Even if she had a somewhat changed view of Lu Chongqing, she didn't show him a good face. All right, in that case, troubles you, Mili. Lu Chongqing didn't mind the attitude at all. Food should be eaten bite by bite. If it weren't for his daughter's words, even if this woman had melted a bit, she wouldn't be willing to help him find his son. But at this moment he also had a clear understanding of his daughter's weight in Nangong Mili's heart. He understood why Nangong Mili got so nervous, as if it were a reflex, when she heard he wanted to see his daughter. His daughter was indeed a reverse scale in her heart. Daddy, take care, Yaoyao will miss you. Nangong Yaoyao heard this and didn't say much more to Lu Chongqing. Her trip to the Immortal Spider Marketplace had already delayed her quite a while. All right, when Daddy and Mommy have time, we'll come visit you, Lu Chongqing said seriously. As soon as he finished speaking, Nangong Mili swiftly shot off with her magical treasure, breaking through the sky and disappearing. Phew! Lu Chongqing took a deep breath, exhaling long and full, feeling an unexplained melancholy in his heart. But thinking that he managed to come back in time to say goodbye to his daughter, he felt somewhat relieved. Otherwise, who knew how many years it would have been until they could see each other again. At this moment he thought of his children far away in Yu country's Jinyang sect. Now with the Tianyuan lotus he could transplant the abyssal ghoul blossom into the Tianyuan lotus upon returning home, and with Lu Miaoga and Lu Miaohuan head to Yu country to see his children. And having the golden-winged heavenly Peng made travel to and from Yu country very convenient. Without thinking much more, Lu Chongqing entered the marketplace. Knowing Meng Xiaochan had sent him a message about the daughter's farewell, he didn't say much. He just instructed her to relay Lu Quanzhen's information to Nangong Mili later, and if there was any news, to directly inform Nangong Mili. Then he rode on the golden-winged heavenly Ping to leave, heading towards the ancient secluded Immortal city. On the purple flying band. Yao, Mom doesn't have much to give you, take this misty sky bead, Nangong Mili said to her daughter, momentarily not knowing what other gift to give. After all, her daughter didn't lack anything. Lu Chongqing had mentioned his daughter lacked defensive capabilities. In reality, she already prepared many trump cards for her daughter. Except that previously when Nangong Yaoyao went to the Myriad Beasts mountain range with Lu Chongqing, it was not appropriate to use these trump cards just for demon beast training. Moreover, her daughter had apprenticed to a nascent soul true lord and would not lack anything in the future. So she thought it through and decided to give the misty sky bead that Lu Chongqing had given her to her daughter. Upon experiencing it, she knew this misty sky bead was very good for disguises. Ordinary nascent soul immortals wouldn't easily see through the disguise. With this misty sky bead, if her daughter was to train outside after entering the Immortal Lotus sect, it would be much more convenient. Misty sky bead? Nangong Yaoyao examined the egg-sized, gray bead shrouded in mist in front of her. Yes. Nangong merely erased the markings from it, introducing the effects of the misty sky bead to her daughter. Toward the end of her explanation she added, "This misty sky bead is something your father gave to your mother, and now it's fitting to give it to you. Something Daddy gave to Mommy?" The young girl blinked her eyes, arching her brows. Could this be Daddy's token of love for Mommy? Token of love. Nangong merely was taken aback, feeling that there was indeed some truth to it. But recalling how that dog of a man changed his attitude completely because she was carrying their daughter, she huffed coldly and said, "It's merely an ordinary exotic treasure. Since it's Daddy's token of love to Mommy, how could I dare to take it?" Nangong Yaoyao grinned playfully, waving her hands in refusal. Yet, Nangong merely still placed the misty sky bead in her hand and gave her some valuable heaven and earth spiritual materials from her storage ring for use in the Immortal Lotus sect, in case she ran out of spirit stones. A child traveling 1,000 miles inspires a mother's worry, wishing only for Pingon and all they could wish for. Even though Nangong Mili was heartless and cruel in many cultivators' eyes, facing her daughter Nangong Yaoyao, she was just a mother wanting to give the best to her daughter. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1408. At this moment inside the Netherworld Blood Evil Gourd, Lu Chuanzhen sat cross-legged in the blood pool, his face twisted in pain and hideous, his body covered with strange black blood-colored patterns. Behind him, a Kunping demon shadow roared, its huge mouth like a black hole swallowing the surging demonic qi, ghost energy and blood liquid into its body, constantly refining them. But this energy clearly exceeded Lu Quanzhen's capacity. His eyes glowed with a crimson blood light, his black hair turning gray, the tips blood red, making him look like a demon head. Still not enough, far from enough. He could feel a demonic intent, ghostly qi and blood evil aura eroding his flesh and bones, even affecting his soul consciousness. If this continued, he would eventually have a problem and possibly go completely mad, becoming a human demon. But he had no way back now. If he stopped, although it could alleviate the situation, he would just be sitting and waiting to die, unable to escape the gourd. He had to keep enhancing his strength, waiting for the right moment. Waiting for the moment the ghost demon true master opened the gourd, or when he reached his absolute limit, then using the Kunping blood-burning technique as a final trump card for a desperate fight to break open the gourd. Ancient secluded Immortal City. After arriving in the Immortal City, Lu Chongqing immediately headed straight to the Shadow Pavilion to purchase information related to Chu Chongtian and the Ghost Demon True Master. However, there wasn't much information about Chu Chongtian, mostly similar to what Meng Xiaochan had previously gathered. After all, no matter how famous a Foundation establishment cultivator was, it was impossible for someone to pay attention to them all the time. He then turned his attention to the intelligence about the Ghost Demon True Master. Seeing that the Ghost Demon True Master had left seclusion to personally hunt down Lu Chuanzhen. He appeared 10 days ago in a place called Black Rock Mountain and was being chased by True Man Jin Tian. Upon seeing this, he bought another intelligence report, only to learn that this True Man Jin Tian was a loose cultivator, with extraordinary strength and an old adversary of the Ghost Demon True Master, often waiting for the latter. It's too difficult to find someone through this intelligence information. Lu Chongqing felt inexplicably annoyed looking at these intelligence reports. Without his own forces, relying solely on a spy network like the Shadow Pavilion, it was very hard to get real-time updates on Lu Chuanzhen and the Ghost Demon True Master situation. Even if there was information about the two by the time the intelligence arrived, they would be long gone. I just hope Qianzhen is all right. Lu Chongqing could only pray in his heart, then spent money to get the Shadow Pavilion to help find Lu Quanzhen's whereabouts. It must be said the fees charged by such intelligence organizations were really expensive. To find Lu Qianzhen, a Foundation establishment cultivator, whether there was a result or not, initially cost 30,000 spirit stones. If there was related information, the price would be set based on the level. Concerning his son's safety, Lu Chongqing didn't skimp on the spirit stones and waited for the intelligence in the ancient secluded Immortal city. 5 Poisons Cult. After her daughter and White Lotus True Monarch left, Nangong Mili also mobilized her forces to fully collect information on Chu Chongtian and the Ghost Demon True Master. Several days later, she received a message that the Ghost Demon True Master was being blocked by True Man Jin Tian in Black Fiend Valley. Old Demon Jin Tian? Nangong Mili's beautiful eyes shone darkly, the light flowing. As a cultivator from the Jin Kingdom, he naturally knew the grudge between the Ghost Demon True Master and True Man Jin Tian. Once in a secret realm, the Ghost Demon True Master severely tricked Old Demon Jin Tian and took his opportunity, creating a feud between them. Although Old Demon Jin Tian was stronger than the Ghost Demon True Master, he was cautious of the Yiming Ghost sect, so he didn't dare kill the Ghost Demon True Master outright, often leaving him heavily injured. As a result, the Ghost Demon True Master spent decades in recuperation, with no progress in his cultivation level, becoming a laughingstock among the nascent soul Immortals circle. Since that's the case, first determine if the Ghost Demon True Master has found this Lu Qianzhen. After a brief contemplation, Nangong Mili prepared to visit Black Fiend Valley. After all, finding the Ghost Demon True Master was far easier than finding Lu Qianzhen. If Lu Qianzhen hid in a mountain range or small town, unless she hired a divination master, finding his whereabouts would be as hard as reaching the heavens. It would be better to first ascertain Lu Quanzhen's situation through the Ghost Demon True Master. An eternally dark gorge. Boom boom boom. A giant man as imposing as a tower stood tall, his every move causing terrifying shockwave attacks, toppling peaks, distorting the air and causing stone spires on the ground to rise and then explode into dust. Pfft. Hidden beneath the gorge, the Ghost Demon True Master groaned, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. He immediately performed the netherworld blood ghost escape, his whole being like a fleeting blood-colored ghostly shadow, disappearing without a trace. Old Ghostly, do you only know how to run? If you kneel now and kowtow 3 times to your grandfather here, I might feel charitable and let you off like a fart. True Man Jin Tian, tall and imposing like a humanoid barbarian dragon, laughed loudly, his voice booming like thunder rolling through the heavens and earth. Although he was far stronger than the Ghost Demon True Master, killing the latter wasn't easy. Besides, the other was from the Yiming Ghost sect, so he couldn't actually kill the Ghost Demon True Master. After all, if he sought revenge and settled grudges, leaving him heavily injured, the Yiming Ghost sect wouldn't say anything, nor would they want to become his enemy for a Ghost Demon True Master. But if he killed the Ghost Demon True Master, the implications would be very different. It would be an outright slap in the face, a slap to the Yiming Ghost sect. If a nascent soul immortal from their sect was killed, and the sect couldn't avenge and regain its dignity, its reputation and prestige would suffer. So every time he cornered the Ghost Demon True Master, he left him heavily injured. Damn you, old Ghost Jin Tian. One day I'll strip your skin and tendons and forge them into the myriad soul banner. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1409. The Ghost Demon True Master was in a wretched state, furious and breathless, cursing through clenched teeth, but dared not pause, fleeing madly. For several decades, it wasn't the first time he had been cornered by the heaven-shaking old demon. He knew the other party was out to humiliate and severely injure him. He didn't know how long had been fleeing, but the Ghost Demon True Master's terrifying face turned pale, gasping for breath. Suddenly he sensed a strange aura. His expression was suspicious, and he immediately gestured with both hands, his whole being resembling a netherworld blood shadow, darted along the aura. Moments later, the Ghost Demon True Master saw a dark pool ahead, swirling with evil chi. Is this the eyes of nether killing? Upon seeing the pool, his expression turned to joy. He hadn't expected he'd be so lucky encountering an eyes of nether killing here. This nether killing spring could not only refine several core formation spiritual objects, Ming Sha Qi, but also nourish his blood evil gourd, allowing this magical treasure to further advance, ascending to a middle-grade magical treasure. Immediately, a pitch-black gourd appeared in his hand, intending to collect the eyes of nether killing into it. I wonder what happened to that boy. At this moment he remembered Lu Xian, whom he had captured into his gourd. When the heaven-shaking true man appeared, the situation was urgent, so he had directly taken Lu Xian into the gourd. Now having calmed down, he recalled that an ordinary foundation establishment cultivator entering his gourd wouldn't last more than 10 days before being dissolved into blood pulp. Considering the time, Lu Xian had been inside the gourd for over half a month. If I let this boy die easily, it would be too cheap for him. As he opened the gourd instantly, his heart trembled, realizing something was off. Saw a blood-colored demon shadow rising skyward. Kunpeng blood-burning technique. Lu Quanzhen's eyes were crimson, hair ash-white, body enveloped in demonic qi with a burst of blood light, suddenly shooting out from the blood-evil gourd, and immediately casting a third-rank talisman held in hand. Boom boom boom. The third-rank thunder talisman activated instantly. Even Lu Xian the user was affected, enduring intense pain, spewing fresh blood. In this brief moment he scattered prepared break technique needles, and then activated the substitute talisman within his sea of consciousness. This was one of his final trump cards. Buzz. The substitute talisman burned fiercely, transforming into a profound force enveloping Lu Xian, forming a substitute puppet at the spot, then attempting to teleport away. Trying to escape. The ghost demon true master faced the sudden third-rank thunder talisman and break technique needles, also caught off guard. But seeing Lu Xian not only alive but cultivation level surging, realizing the opponent held great fortunes and secrets, how could he let him escape? Immediately risking harm, spreading his law domain, suppressing Lu Quanzhen's escape. Kunping devouring heaven. At this moment Lu Xian was surging with magic aura, enveloped in demonic qi, almost rivaling a false core. Behind him, a roaring Kunping demon shadow broke through the law domain, resembling a parade of hundreds of ghosts or a netherworld hell. While this substitute talisman effect under the law domain was depleted, it could only fly away. Oldly ghost, so you're hiding here. At this moment the towering figure like an iron mountain, the heaven-shaking true man, stood in the air, speaking in a thunderous voice. Seeing the flying Lu Xian, his brows furrowed, his large hand grasped suddenly like five-finger mountain holding Lu Xian. Whiz! The six-winged golden silkworm appeared suddenly from Lu Quanzhen's sleeve, dashing towards the heaven-shaking true man. Yet facing such a nascent soul immortal body cultivator, even the six-winged golden silkworm, being a rare exotic insect, couldn't cause the slightest harm. This is six-winged golden silkworm? The heaven-shaking true man looked at the bloodthirsty and ferocious aura of the six-winged golden silkworm, inspecting it with some delight. Such a rare exotic insect, even for nascent soul immortal, is top grade, not only for spiritual pets but also for artifact refining and alchemy. Boy, you are the one who killed Oldly Ghost's son, Chu Changtian, right? Good boy, you've got guts. Subsequently he looked at the blood-red-eyed, pale-faced, thin-figured Lu Xian, laughing aloud. But the next moment he frowned slightly, noticing something wrong with Lu Xian. Tisgate, what have you done, boy? Netherworld demon chi nether ghost energy, blood evil energy fills your limbs and bones, even polluting your Dantian Dao foundation. Your mana is ferociously chaotic, surging against your meridians. The heaven-shaking true man clicked his tongue in wonder, feeling Lu Xian was indeed fierce, able to get himself into such a predicament. After all, without a certain ferocity tolerance an ordinary person truly couldn't achieve it. At this moment Lu Xian couldn't speak, his body burned with pain akin to being sawed with knives. His situation was already dire, plus he had executed the Kunping blood-burning technique, such desperate measures. Now being suppressed by the heaven-shaking true man, the secret technique stopped functioning, aftermath effects immediately appeared. Not only was his essence blood depleted, mana chaotic, the demonic chi, ghost chi and blood evil energy within also started to run rampant, eroding his flesh and consciousness. Damn it! The ghost demon true master emerged, seeing Lu Chuanzhen caught by the heaven-shaking true man, his face unsightly to the extreme. To capture Lu Chuanzhen he had exerted much effort, time and energy. Now inadvertently Lu Chuanzhen escaped him. If this were to spread, a foundation establishment cultivator escaping from his grasp, soon had become a laughingstock. And now Lu Chuanzhen fell into the heaven-shaking old demon's hands. This matter would spread throughout Jin Kingdom in no time. Whiz! At this moment, a purple cloud veil suddenly descended from the sky. An elegant, cold, enchanting and curved purple-skirted beauty stood atop. She saw the ghost demon true master in the scene, then looked towards the heaven-shaking true man, and then gazed at Lu Chuanzhen in the true man's hand. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1410. Ghost Demon True Master and Jin Tian True Master saw Nangong Meili and looked surprised, not knowing why she had come here. Such a sudden appearance was clearly no coincidence. Oh, isn't this heavenly spider True Master? What business brings you here, True Master? Jin Tian Old Demon saw Nangong Meili's enchanting beauty and breathtaking curves, licked his lips and his copper-ring leopard eyes revealed a hint of fervor. Nangong Meili glanced at Lu Chuanzhen in Jin Tian Realman's hand. Realizing it was him, her phoenix eyes turned icy and she coldly said, "Name your price, I want this person." Jin Tian Realman was surprised upon hearing this. He didn't expect Nangong Meili to come for Lu Chuanzhen. This kid not only subdued the six-winged golden silkworm, an unusual creature, but also escaped from old ghostly, clearly not simple, with great fortune, great secrets. Now that Nangong Meili also comes for this kid, it further suggests he is extraordinary, possibly harboring unknown fortunes. Jin Tian Realman thought to himself, realizing Lu Chuanzhen was indeed special. He audaciously scrutinized Nangong Meili in front of him, then laughed heartily and said, if True Master wants this kid, that's possible. As long as you help me kill old Ghostly, I'll give you this kid, how about it? Knowing Lu Chuanzhen had great fortune and secrets, he naturally wouldn't hand him over easily. Jin Tian Old Ghost, damn you. Ghost Demon True Master immediately swore. Then he addressed Nangong Meili, Heavenly Spider True Master, if you help me suppress this old ghost, just name your request and I owe you a favor. I'm not interested in getting involved in your matters, just give me this person. Nangong Meili wore a regal purple dress, her tall figure exuding a cold and domineering beauty. She came to confirm whether Lu Chuanzhen was in Ghost Demon True Master's hands. Unexpectedly, Lu Chuanzhen was not in Ghost Demon True Master's hands but in Jin Tian Old Demon's hands. Compared to Ghost Demon True Master, Jin Tian Old Demon was more troublesome. Being a loose cultivator, he had no ties and was at the third-rank middle stage of body refinement, acting domineeringly without restraint, very difficult to handle. Tiske not wanting to get involved makes things difficult. Jin Tian Old Demon scrutinized Nangong Meili's alluring figure and suddenly laughed. I heard back in the day Xianxia was deeply in love with you, serving loyally, even self-detonating his core in Jiang country, utterly pathetic and laughable. I have long heard of the True Master's illustrious name and would love to see it for myself. If True Master is willing to accompany me for a few days, I'll give you this kid. How about it? Insolent. Nangong Meili's phoenix eyes were full of murderous intent. Had it been someone else daring such brazen impudence, looking at her with such aggressive eyes, they would have had their eyes gouged out and fed to the dogs. But considering Jin Tian Old Demon's power, not wanting a dispute with him, she suppressed her anger. Now with such remarks, there's no point in continuing the discussion. Woo woo woo. Nangong Meili raised her fair jade hand, a shimmering purple jade flute appeared in her hand, resting against her ruby lips, and a captivating flute sound slowly resonated. A gigantic illusion of a purple sky spider appeared, lunging at Jin Tian True Master. However, Nangong Meili knew that suppressing Jin Tian True Master was impossible, so she immediately crushed Lu Changsheng's sensing jade talisman. Under usual circumstances she wouldn't seek Lu Changsheng's assistance. But this was about him saving his son, so what did it matter to her? Hee, this little lady is quite feisty, just the kind of woman this old man likes. Zhen Tian old demon laughed wildly, his iron tower-like body pulsated with muscles, rumbling like fierce beasts roaring. Above his head appeared a dark gold ferocious iron tower, emitting powerful energy, striking toward the purple sky spider. Huff huff huff. The purple sky spider roared, weaving strands of purple silk into a heaven and earth net. Then countless snakes and insects appeared, carrying a sweeping tide of poisonous gas, rushing toward Zhen Tian old demon. Buzz buzz buzz. Zhen Tian old demon's form was imposing, the dark gold iron tower vibrated, erupting like a volcano, black mist rolling forth torrentially. At this moment he noticed several invisible spider threads trying to snatch Lu Chuanzhen from his grasp. He immediately threw out his hand, pinning the ferocious and pained Lu Chuanzhen, whose face was pale, under his magical treasure to prevent Nangong melee from taking him. Pfft! Already gravely injured, Lu Chuanzhen under this spiritual pressure force suddenly vomited blood, nearly fainting. Yet his tenacious and stubborn life force kept him going, clenching his teeth, still pondering if there was any way to survive. But given the present circumstances he truly couldn't think of any means to escape. The only option was to do everything possible to survive under Zhen Tian old demon, waiting for an opportunity. I cannot die yet, my life is just beginning, I still need to witness the rise of the family, I have a pact with my uncle, I must break through core formation, even nascent soul. Lu Quanzhen's eyes were crimson, his face twisted and fearful, his consciousness somewhat blurred. Go. Right then Ghost Demon True Master, seeing Nangong melee and Zhen Tian True Master confront each other, transformed into a phantom-like netherworld blood shadow and departed. He was injured, and even if he joined forces with Nangong melee, at most they'd repel Zhen Tian old demon. But Nangong melee wasn't easy either. If he retreated Zhen Tian old demon and she sought revenge or benefits, he would suffer massively. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1411. The true man of heaven shaking saw Ghost Demon True Master attempting to escape, and immediately reprimanded Nangong melee. You vile woman, get lost. Although he had an interest in Nangong melee, he knew that given his strength, it was impossible to capture her. Rather than fight her to the death, it was better to continue making trouble for Ghost Demon True Master. Nangong melee's phoenix eyes were cold and icy. She didn't stop him but pursued from behind, thinking about seizing Lu Chuanzhen when the opportunity arose. She looked at heaven-shaking old demon in front of her and suddenly spoke coldly. Heaven-shaking old demon, do you know the identity of this child? She noticed Lu Chuanzhen was in bad shape at the moment, and trying to take him would be difficult, so she planned to delay as much as possible, waiting for Lu Chongqing to arrive. What does his identity have to do with me? Do you really think you can scare me? Heaven-shaking old demon said defiantly. If Lu Chuanzhen had some status or background, would he be hunted by Ghost Demon True Master for so long, ending up in such a half-crippled state? Therefore he directly considered Nangong melee's words as a bluff. Thus the three began to engage in combat. Meanwhile, a golden ping bird, shimmering brilliantly and emitting infinite golden light, suffused with demon chi, was continuously tearing through the void, stirring up gusts of wind, flying towards Nangong melee. Quick! Lu Chongqing stood tall and imposing on the golden-winged heavenly ping, his expression anxious. As soon as Lu Chuanzhen activated the substitute talisman, he sensed his son's general direction. Just after leaving ancient secluded Immortal City, receiving Nangong melee's message, he immediately knew Lu Quanzhen's situation was extremely dire. Screech! The golden-winged heavenly pung let out a sharp cry, raising fierce gusts of wind. Its body, like cast gold, was dazzling and majestic, its wings akin to two golden heavenly blades, exuding unparalleled sharpness. Stretching in the void, it tore the space, screech, screech, directly slashing a towering peak that soared into the sky. At this moment, the speed of the golden-winged heavenly ping had surpassed core formation late stage, almost comparable to the escape speed of a nascent soul true lord. If not for Lu Chongqing having third-rank body refining, the wind force formed by this speed would have torn his physical body to shreds, leaving blood and bones. Black Fiend Valley. Wretch, if you keep pestering me, I'll kill you. Heaven-shaking old demon was incredibly tall, like a small iron tower of a mountain filled with oppressive might. He originally held a crushing advantage over Ghost Demon True Master. But now, this woman Nangong merely continuously affected and interfered, occasionally trying to snatch Lu Chuanjin, increasingly aggravating him, surging with a violent mood. Where did he go? A moment later, heaven-shaking old demon saw Ghost Demon True Master's aura disappear, nowhere to be found. His expression turned ominous as he looked at Nangong mealy. It's all because of you, vile woman. Since you like pestering me so much, I'll grant your wish. With that, his body resounded with clang clang clang, like iron towers vibrating, charging towards Nangong mealy, his eyes filled with murderous intent. The demonic techniques he cultivated, though powerful and domineering, had a drawback affecting his emotions. He originally didn't want to entangle too much with Nangong mealy. But now, burning with rage, a violent mood surged within him, wanting nothing more than to unleash it fiercely. That's also why he frequently hunted Ghost Demon True Master. The long-term cultivation resulted in many negative emotions accumulating. And when he targeted Ghost Demon True Master, beating him to the point of fleeing, he felt immensely satisfied, able to purge the negative emotions from his mind. Otherwise, even though he was extremely vengeful, he wouldn't spend so much time and energy hunting Ghost Demon True Master. Boom! Nangong mealy lightly raised her plain hand, summoning an invisible spider web, smooth and delicate as thin as a cicada's wings. Boom boom boom. The terrifying force unleashed by heaven-shaking old demon struck the spider web, immediately being absorbed more than half, unable to advance, feeling a current of toxin flowing on his skin. But the next moment his fist erupted with infinite mighty aura, like igniting a blazing inferno, causing the spider web to bubble like boiling water. Sizzle sizzle, its luster dimming significantly. Woo woo woo. Nangong mealy continued to play the jade flute. A shadow of the purple sky spider appeared, spewing the heaven and earth net, countless poison insects rushing towards heaven-shaking old demon. Yet facing heaven-shaking old demon's robust and domineering physical body, he still had to retreat step by step. She and her daughter Nangong Yaoyao were both not skilled in direct combat and martial arts. Moreover, in the battle at Zhou Immortal City years ago, her life-bound heavenly spider was slain by Yun Jianfeng, leading to a tremendous loss in strength, which she hadn't yet recovered from. Otherwise, when facing a body-refining cultivator like heaven-shaking old demon, she could let the heavenly spider engage in the front while attacking by other means. Not to mention annihilating heaven-shaking old demon, she would at least have a 50 to 60% chance of victory. Damn it, how long until that wretched man arrives? Nangong mealy's face was cold as frost, cursing inwardly. If this continued, her magical treasures might be worn out. And if she left in defeat today, it wouldn't be long before other forces knew her combat strength had greatly diminished. Wretch, what are you waiting for? Though heaven-shaking old demon was burning with rage, trapped in a violent mood, he still maintained some sense. He noticed Nangong mealy consistently avoiding direct combat, incessantly retreating, seemingly buying time, realizing something was amiss. I'll make you speak. Heaven-shaking old demon's voice was deep and hoarse, like rolling thunder, with massive muscular black fists shadowing the sky, accompanied by a dark gold iron tower falling in unison, aiming to suppress Nangong mealy. Nangong mealy's phoenix eyes were murderous, icy cold, her hands gesturing incantations, the invisible spider web forming a vault, the purple sky spider consolidating, spewing threads of crystalline spider silk. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 14:12. Then he summoned a hairpin resembling a purple jade butterfly and launched it to attack the old demon Zhentian. Boom boom boom. The black iron fist and dark golden iron tower brutally suppressed, shattering the webs like a celestial curtain, and the freshly solidified purple sky spider, causing them to explode and dim continuously. However, at that moment he seemed to see a dreamlike butterfly, momentarily dazed. His protective spiritual light was pierced by the purple jade butterfly hairpin, and a drop of scarlet blood oozed from his brow. "You bitch, how dare you hurt me?" The old demon Xianxia woke instantly, eyes glaring angrily, fierce light bursting forth, and his mountainous physique erupted into blazing demon flames, with a surging momentum sweeping across a vast expanse of the heavenly dome. Just now, in a moment of carelessness, he sensed a trace of deadly danger, causing an overwhelming fury within him, anger unrestrained. Boom, boom, boom. All the dormant chi and blood magical power within him exploded at this moment, making his 10 feet tall body rise even higher, with each movement seemingly causing the space to explode, filled with a brutal killing aura. "You bitch, die for me." The giant let out a long howl to the sky, with boundless violent fierceness flooding his mind, occupying his thoughts, and attacked Nangong melee. Bang, bang, bang. The power was fierce. The ethereal purple sky spider under the old demon Xianxia's offensive retreated repeatedly, then disintegrated like sand, causing Nangong melee to groan softly, with blood seeping from the corner of her mouth. Damn. Nangong melee's face was somewhat pale, her phoenix eyes extremely cold, feeling suffocated and angry. If her life-bound heavenly spider was still present, it wouldn't be like this. Moreover, that damned man still hasn't arrived. "Bitch, I'm going to kill you." Jintian True Man's massive body burned with a layer of blazing demon flames, a frenzied, violent and chilling murderous intent surging like a tide towards Nangong melee. Whoosh. Nangong melee realized Jintian old demon's state was not right, immediately turned and left, temporarily avoiding the sharp edge. "Where do you think you're going, bitch?" The old demon Jintian, like a demon god of purgatory, tore through the void, raising violent aura like a dragon, and reached Nangong melee. Bang, bang, bang. The black giant fists shattered layers of void. The dark golden iron tower bore down from the heavenly dome like a mountain, exuding endless suppressive aura. Whoosh. Nangong melee managed to avoid it, but still felt her chi and blood magical power surging turbulently, letting out a muffled groan. Boom, boom, boom. The old demon Jintian continued his assault, the visible force gathered in his fists, violently rampant, with each punch seeming to carry endless fierce beasts roaring, forcing Nangong melee to retreat step by step, spitting blood. If Lu Chuanzhen weren't in the hands of the old demon Jintian, Nangong melee would have departed by now. After all, she could tell Lu Quanzhen's situation was extremely dire. If she detached and left now and Jintian old demon disappeared afterward, it would not be easy to find him and Lu Chuanzhen again. "Just wait a little longer. If that damned man still doesn't come, don't blame me." Nangong melee's beautiful eyes were icy cold, thinking to herself, for the sake of her daughter she's willing to help. But shall never sacrifice herself. Boom, boom, boom. The two continued their combat. At this moment, Nangong melee was completely no match for Jintian True Man, her face extremely pale, ready to leave. If she continued to drag this on, she herself would be in danger. Just then both sensed a surging and astonishing demon aura rolling towards this direction. Demon aura? Both were somewhat puzzled, unsure why such a massive demon aura appeared here. Could it be that damned man has come? Nangong melee pondered to herself. Previously, she heard her daughter mention Lu Chongqing had a third-rank ping bird, suspecting that the golden ping bird she saw at the border was indeed Lu Changsheng's mount. A few breaths later she saw a golden rainbow shooting across, speeding swiftly, its momentum rushing fiercely. That damned man finally came. Although the golden-winged heavenly peng's speed was incredibly swift as a nascent soul immortal, she barely made out the figure standing on it. Even though she had guessed before, seeing this familiar golden-winged heavenly peng, Nangong melee was still extremely surprised. After all, to use such a demon king as a mode of transport, one should be at least a core formation peak existence, right? But Lu Chongqing had just recently broken through core formation. Considering Lu Changsheng's various circumstances, Nangong melee no longer used common sense to measure him, feeling a surge of relaxed joy in her heart, and an unprecedented sense of security. The old demon Xianxia's mind, full of violent aura, cleared slightly under this overwhelming demon aura, with reason prevailing. Seeing Nangong melee's expression, he immediately realized something was wrong. Leave. Without hesitation he decisively planned to escape. After all, the spiritual pressure exuded by this vast demon aura had reached the third rank late stage. If it came to a fight, he would be entirely outmatched. Yin Yang Qi grasp. An indifferent voice rang out. Then the winds and clouds on the heavenly dome churned, revealing a gigantic hand imprint intertwined with yin and yang, 100 meters wide, rolling down. Not good. Being a loose cultivator, able to rampage for so long, the old demon Xianxian was indeed extraordinary. His muscles rippled as if made of piled rocks, exuding endless power, directly breaking through the suppression of the yin-yang qi grasp. Golden ping. Lu Changsheng's expression was indifferent. His robes fluttered as he rode the golden-winged heavenly ping towards the old demon Xianxian. Pooh! The old demon Zhenshin's prideful physical body was pierced at this moment by the golden-winged heavenly ping's wing, carving a deep scar with blood splattered across the sky. Even though Nangong merely knew the strength of such a demon king was terrifying, she was still startled by this scene. With such a demon king, Lu Changxing could probably fight even a late-stage core formation great cultivator. Given the strength and methods of the opponent, perhaps even late-stage core formation cultivators are not his match. Who are you, sir? What offense have I committed against you? The old demon Xianxian, though suspecting Lu Changxing was aligned with Nangong melee, still felt baffled. Unaware of when Jin Kingdom produced such an existence. Lu Changxing remained silent. The golden-winged heavenly pung let out a screech, continued to attack the old demon Xianxian, and carved another deep wound on his chest, more blood spilled. Boom! Meanwhile, the yin-yang qi grasp rolled downwards, directly subduing and suppressing the recently domineering old demon Xianxian. His bones crackled and his mouth let out a painful sound. Mealy, are you all right? Lu Changxing turned to Nangong mealy beside him, instantly noticing her mana was disordered, having suffered significant injuries, gently asking with concern. He's yours to deal with. Lu Changxing casually threw the old demon Xianxian to Nangong mealy. Then he reached out and from the dark golden iron tower, the pale and agonized Lu Chuanjin was drawn before him. Chuanjin. Lu Changxing gazed at Lu Chuanjin before him with a solemn face. Father. Lu Quanzhen's consciousness was gradually fading. But upon hearing the familiar voice, seeing the familiar dark brocade robe before him, he recognized the scholarly gentleman before him as his father right away. Although unsure why his father appeared here, seeing Lu Changxing, his tense mind relaxed slightly and he suddenly fainted. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 14:13. Lu Changxing looked at the unconscious Lu Chuanjin, his brow furrowed. The situation was very serious. His meridians, dantian limbs and bones were all filled with chaotic, violent, cold and fierce energy. This energy not only eroded Lu Quanzhen's flesh and mana but also polluted his sea of consciousness and soul. Lu Changxing immediately understood why Lu Quanzhen's cultivation level had broken through so quickly. By using demonic techniques to devour various chaotic energies, he stimulated and squeezed his life potential, thus madly enhancing his cultivation realm. The consequences were chaotic mana, a flimsy foundation, unstable realm and a tendency toward deviation. Besides these problems, Lu Chuanjin was also severely injured, having used the life-burning secret technique, which led to a deficit in essence blood and damaged his foundation. The Dao foundation in his Qi ocean core was dim and dull, polluted by wisps of blood fiend, with several cracks faintly visible. Boom! Without hesitation, Lu Changxing ran the yin-yang creation scripture to sort and suppress the chaotic and violent energies and mana within Lu Chuanjin. At his chest, the 9 treasures Rui bone radiated, bursting with brilliant glow as mysterious runes intertwined and flowed, containing an indescribable vast secret power, pouring into Lu Quanzhen's body. This is... Nangong mealy, standing beside him, was surprised to see the vast might and dense vitality emanating from Lu Changxing's chest. She never expected Lu Changxing to have such means. It was known that cultivators skilled in combat techniques rarely cultivate healing divine skills. One reason was that cultivation techniques were incompatible, difficult to master, and even if mastered they were not very effective. Another reason was that one's time and energy were limited, making it impossible to cultivate too many divine skills. Though she couldn't discern the specifics of Lu Changsheng's divine skill, she could tell from the interwoven and blossoming brilliant runes and the pervasive, vast qi mechanism that it was extraordinary. How many tricks does this wretched man have? Nangong Mili thought to herself, feeling that Lu Changsheng was shrouded in mystery. Moments later, Lu Changsheng exhaled deeply and stopped the operation of the 9 treasures Rui bone. Lu Quanzhen's situation was very serious. Even he could only temporarily restrain it, unable to fully resolve it. How is it? Nangong Mili, with a cool and alluring demeanor, asked aloud. Even though she had no feelings for Lu Quanzhen. As a mother, knowing her child was severely injured, she knew how anxious one would be. The situation is quite serious, needs to be slowly resolved. Lu Changxing said solemnly. Lu Quanzhen's situation could only be gradually adjusted. Unless he happened to acquire heavenly and earthly treasures specifically for this, it couldn't be resolved in a short time. Then he held Nangong Mili's jade wrist, expressing concern. Mili, are you all right? If Nangong Mili hadn't arrived early today to hold off the tremor old demon, afterward his son Lu Quanzhen would have been rendered a ruined man even if he didn't die. Nangong Mili instinctively tried to shake off Lu Changxing. But failing to do so, she let him hold her, saying with a cool and noble expression, "I'm fine." Lu Changxing saw that Nangong Mili indeed had no major issues, only minor injuries along with qi blood shocks and mana disturbances. Yet to express gratitude he activated the 9 treasures Rui bone. Boom! Brilliant light flared, runes blossomed, interwoven a dense vitality secret power flowing toward Nangong Mili. The milky green healing divine light rippled. Nangong Mili immediately felt a nurturing and comforting warmth akin to being in the womb, as if soaking in a hot spring, her body and mind relaxing tremendously. The disturbed qi and blood magical power and the Bodhi's injuries were repaired and purified. This wretched man actually doesn't only focus on his son. Nangong Mili felt a bit delighted, remembering her daughter Nangong Yaoyao's words. As long as she was willing to take a step back, lower her stance, Lu Changxing would also take a step back, lower his stance. No need for this, I can recover on my own in a few days. Nangong Mili said coldly, her voice indifferent but not entirely dismissive. Even though she was willing to step back and ease relations, she still couldn't directly lower her stance and show Lu Changxing a good face. No worries. Lu Changxing knew she was the type who had pride despite her actions contradicting her words, and continued to nurture her. After it was almost done, he stopped, slightly exhaustedly exhaling. Using the healing divine light consumed him as well. Man-wise, thanks to the Tianyuan Supreme King Lotus, it wasn't a major issue. But using such a divine skill also depleted his essence energy. Mili, what just happened? Why was Quanzhen in this person's hands? Lu Changxing asked Nangong Mili about the earlier situation. Through previous investigations he had learned that the giant before him was the tremor old demon. But wasn't his son being pursued by the ghost demon True Master? Why was he in the tremor old demon's hands? I don't know either. Nangong Mili's tone and attitude improved slightly when speaking to Lu Changxing, explaining that when she arrived, Lu Quanzhen was already captured by the tremor old demon. It seemed that Lu Quanzhen had escaped the ghost demon True Master's grasp only to encounter the tremor old demon. Where is the ghost demon True Master? Lu Changsheng's eyes deepened, exuding a cold, murderous intent. Lu Quanzhen's plight was inseparable from that person. This debt he would naturally settle with him. At that time the ghost demon True Master was being chased by the tremor old demon. It was her first time seeing Lu Changxing angry, and for some reason Nangong Mili felt a surge of inexplicable emotion, her heart trembled. This man wasn't devoid of temper. He simply didn't get angry easily under normal circumstances. If she truly enraged him, how would she be treated? Nangong Mili suddenly wondered. The ghost demon True Master was injured considerably. Race a high likelihood he'll return to the Yiming ghost sect to heal. Nangong Mili said. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1414, Yiming Ghost Sect. Lu Changsheng's eyes narrowed slightly. Although the Yiming Ghost Sect doesn't have a nascent soul true lord to oversee them, The sect has the supreme treasure, myriad ghosts' blood pool to stabilize their foundation. And the supreme elder of Yiming Ghost Sect is already at the core formation peak, just one step away from advancing to the nascent soul. Don't be impulsive. Nangong Mili seemed worried that Lu Chongxing might directly go to the Yiming Ghost Sect to cause trouble and immediately spoke up. Don't worry. Lu Chongxing smiled and looked at the old demon Jin Tian, asking, what do you plan to do with this person? Killing him easily would be too cheap for him. First, take him back as a blood slave, cultivate goo insects from him, and once his potential is exhausted, sell him to the Heavenly Corpse Sect for corpse refinement. Nangong Mili spoke coldly, her phoenix eyes filled with malice. When the opponent fought with her, he called her a lowly wench, and she naturally held that in her heart, not letting him off easily. Lu Chongxing, indeed the demon path is just that. Even if this woman shows tenderness and care in front of her daughter, being gentle like water, she is ultimately a demoness of the demon path, known as a femme fatale, ruthless and merciless. But in these matters he couldn't really persuade her. After all, according to the principle of making full use of things, her actions didn't seem wrong, just a bit cruel to hear. And in his early years he too had fed his six-winged golden silkworm with corpses, abyssal ghoul blossoms. However, hearing about corpse refinement, he thought of the endless guileful head in his corpse bag. This old demon Jin Tian with core formation cultivation and third-rank body refining, if refined into a ghost slave, would have considerable combat power. Let's go back first. Lu Chongxing took Nangong Mili's jade hand, bringing the fainted Lu Chuanjin onto the back of the golden-winged heavenly ping, preparing to go back to treat Lu Quanzhen's body. Nangong Mili came onto the golden-winged heavenly ping, feeling somewhat nervous and uneasy. After all, this was a third-rank demon king. A demon king that had suppressed the old demon Jin Tian with just one move. And now she was actually using such a demon king as a means of transportation. Nangong Mili slightly tilted her head, her beautiful phoenix eyes glancing at the elegantly handsome Lu Chongxing, feeling that his tall and upright figure seemed to have grown even more magnificent. However, this man's true appearance is indeed quite handsome. Let's go. Lu Chongxing noticed Nangong Mili's gaze, smiled and signaled the golden-winged heavenly ping to return to the Immortal Spider Marketplace. Then he continued to use the Yin-Yang creation scripture to sort out Lu Quanzhen's condition. The situation of the other person was extremely troublesome. Not only were his meridians and physical body filled with violent and chaotic energy, his Dao Foundation Qi Ocean Core were also polluted, the mana was icy and ferocious, unable to nourish the body, even constantly damaging the meridians and physical body. Let me see his condition. At this moment Nangong Mili's red lips parted lightly and she spoke. She was from the Five Poisons cult, skilled in unorthodox techniques, and saw the cold and vicious qi flowing through Lu Quanzhen's body, wondering if she could resolve it. All right. Lu Chongxing nodded. As soon as Nangong Mili examined Lu Quanzhen's body, she frowned slightly. She knew the situation was bad, but she didn't expect it to be this dire. If not for the rich vitality continuously nourishing his body, he probably wouldn't last a few days. When she saw Lu Quanzhen's Qi Ocean Core, her eyebrows furrowed even more. This mana. Why does it resemble the Netherworld Blood Evil technique of the Ghost Demon True Master? Nangong Mili saw that Lu Quanzhen's mana was completely incompatible with his cultivation technique, both icy and extremely vicious. At this moment she furrowed her brows again, realizing something amiss. Even though Lu Quanzhen's foundation was unstable and his state very poor, his cultivation level was clearly at the 9th level foundation establishment. But she remembered that according to the intelligence he was only at the foundation establishment middle stage, having just broken through to the 4th layer not long ago. How did he suddenly break through from the foundation establishment 4th layer to the 9th level foundation establishment? His situation seems like someone transmitted their cultivation to him, forcefully raising his level, which resulted in deviation followed by using a life-burning secret technique, leaving him heavily injured. Nangong Mili's eyebrows knit tightly, explaining her assessment. But in her view, Lu Quanzhen's situation didn't seem like someone transmitted their cultivation to him. Transmitting cultivation, Netherworld Blood Evil technique? Lu Chongxing roughly guessed that his son had fallen into the hands of the Ghost Demon True Master, who, in order to escape and increase his strength, had used the Kunping devouring heaven demonic technique to devour a massive amount of netherworld blood evil energy. This also explained why his mana was chaotic, ferocious, and filled with blood evil energy. Meili, do you have any solutions? Lu Chongqing inquired. The Five Poisons cult has a type of goo insect called bloodlight goo, which feeds on blood evil, and might temporarily relieve his condition. There's also a goo insect called flesh white bone, which can constantly provide nourishment and heal his flesh injuries, but resolving this completely would be difficult. Nangong Meili shook her head. Does the Yiming ghost sect have a method for this? Lu Changsheng's eyes narrowed slightly as he continued to ask. His son falling to this state was linked to the ghost demon True Master, and perhaps they had a way to resolve it. Nangong Meili looked at Lu Chongqing, paused for a moment, then spoke with her red lips slightly parted. His mana is similar to the netherworld blood evil technique. The Yiming ghost sect might have secret medicines or techniques to assist in this cultivation method, possibly easing the condition, but am not sure. I understand. Lu Chongqing nodded his head. Nangong Meili looked at Lu Chongqing, hesitated for a moment, and then spoke in an indifferent tone. I can go to the Yiming ghost sect later to see if I can obtain some information. There's no rush. Lu Chongqing shook his head, not wanting to trouble Nangong Meili. As he understood, although the three great demonic sects of the Jin Kingdom had interactions and collaborations, their relationship was only average. If Nangong Meili went to the Yiming ghost sect, they would naturally show her some courtesy. But when it comes to the inheritance of cultivation techniques, it might not be that simple. So he planned to wait until his son woke up to discuss it further. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 14-15, Lu Lang. Immortal Spider Marketplace. Meng Xiaochan saw Lu Chongqing return and immediately called out. She then reported information about Lu Chuanjun and Ghost Demon True Master, stating that her master had gone out to find Ghost Demon True Master a few days ago. I already know. Lu Chongqing spoke, indicating that he had already found Lu Chuanjun and just parted ways with Nangong Meili. Xiaochan, is there a second-rank alchemy room here? He inquired aloud, intending to open a furnace to refine pills for Lu Chuanjun to address the situation. There is. Meng Xiaochan didn't know why Lu Chongqing was asking this, but still nodded in response. Immediately, Lu Chongqing asked Meng Xiaochan to help him gather some spiritual medicine, then released Lu Chuanjun from the Tianyuan lotus to continue nurturing and healing his body. Lu Quanzhen's vitality was stabilized now. The only problem was his sea of consciousness soul being corroded by blood fiend, which was very troublesome. Even if Lu Chongqing wanted to resolve it, he had to be extremely cautious. Several days later, Nangong Meili arrived at the Immortal Spider Marketplace and was somewhat surprised to see Lu Chongqing practicing alchemy. Although she had previously read the information and knew Lu Chongqing was a second-rank alchemist, she noticed that Lu Changsheng's technique was unlike ordinary second-rank alchemists. However, thinking of Lu Changsheng's various methods, having such alchemy skills seemed unremarkable. This is bloodlight goo and flesh white bone. They only need simple refinement before they can be implanted into him. Nangong Meili, dressed in a purple skirt, gracefully tossed 2 goo jars to Lu Chongqing, her expression cold and beautiful. Thank you for your hard work, Meili. Lu Chongqing smiled faintly and opened the goo jars. Then, with a subtle mental movement, a pink peach blossom mark appeared on his forehead, refining the goo insects in his hand. During this process, the disguise on his face also automatically disappeared. Nangong Meili saw the peach blossom mark on Lu Changsheng's forehead, feeling an inexplicable tremor in her heart, and the goo insects inside her quivered. So this is the goo insect of this awful man. Nangong Meili had long known that Lu Chongqing harbored a powerful goo insect within, but she didn't know what kind of goo insect it was. Now, seeing the pink peach petal on Lu Changsheng's forehead, she realized that this was his goo insect. What kind of goo is this? Yet it really is like him, like a peach blossom spirit. Nangong Meili saw that his handsome face had an added touch of wicked charm, internally cursing. But for some reason she found this appearance unusually pleasing to the eye. Even more than the previous look, resembling a banished immortal descending to the mundane world. Lu Chongqing didn't pay attention to Nangong Meili's gaze, refining the 2 goo insects in his hand. These were merely second-rank goo insects. With the will of the peach blossom goo suppressing them, combined with his yin-yang magic power and Tai divine soul, they were refined in a moment. Then with a slight mental gesture he infused the 2 goo insects into Lu Quanzhen's body. Buzz. As soon as the blood-light goo entered Lu Quanzhen's sea of consciousness, it began to absorb the blood fiend intent within. This blood fiend qi was extremely troublesome. Even Lu Chongqing had to be cautious in dispersing it. Yet this bloodlight goo was able to absorb the blood fiend aura from his sea of consciousness without harming Lu Quanzhen's soul. At the same time, flesh-white bone began to flow with medicinal power, constantly nourishing Lu Quanzhen's condition. These goo insects indeed have their merits. Lu Chongqing nodded silently. He thought to himself that among the 100 arts of cultivation, goo insects could form a distinct path, and there were indeed many goo cultivators with some substantial capabilities. Immediately afterward he placed a peaceful spirit talisman on Lu Quanzhen's forehead. Puff. Several days later, under Lu Changsheng's treatment, Lu Quanzhen suddenly coughed up a spurt of foul blood and regained consciousness. Father. He opened his blood-reddened eyes, looking at the Lu Chongqing in front of him, appearing somewhat dazed and confused, almost believing he was dreaming. Quanzhen. Lu Chongqing looked at the pale-complexioned gray-white hair and blood-red eyes of Lu Quanzhen, filled with blood-fiend intent, feeling a heaviness in his heart. Father, is it really you? Lu Quanzhen was still somewhat incredulous. Although before losing consciousness he seemed to have seen Lu Chongqing. But he vaguely remembered falling into the hands of the earth-shaking old demon. This person's name was known to him even stronger than the ghost demon True Master. How did Father save him from the earth-shaking old demon? It seemed like there was a golden light. He recalled the situation at that time, only remembering a brilliantly dazzling golden light spreading, and a majestic demon aura. Then the earth-shaking old demon seemed to let out a tragic wail. It is me. Lu Chongqing nodded, then asked in a deep voice, how did you end up like this? Lu Quanzhen felt his entire situation, then calmed his mind and spoke aloud. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 14:16. Lu Quanzhen truthfully recounted his encounter. He met the ghost demon True Master, got trapped in the netherworld blood evil gourd, and then chose to cultivate the Kunping devouring heaven demonic technique. I knew there was a problem with this cultivation technique, but I didn't expect it to be like this. Cough, cough, cough. Lu Quanzhen's face was pale and extremely weak, coughing violently several times. At first, relying on the Kunping devouring heaven demonic technique secret technique, he survived by a stroke of luck in the Black Mist Swamp, thinking he had some control over this demonic technique. But he didn't expect the cultivation technique to be so overpowering, completely out of his control. Of course, if he were given another chance he would still make the same choice. Because at that time he had no other choice but this one method. If it weren't for the encounter with the shocking heaven old demon, he might have really escaped from the ghost demon True Master's hands. But speaking of it, if it weren't for the shocking heaven old demon, he might not have had the chance to escape at all. Upon hearing this, Lu Chongqing sighed softly, not knowing what to say. After a pause he asked, does your cultivation technique have a solution to this problem? It's rather difficult. Lu Quanzhen shook his head with a bitter smile. If it was just relying on the Kunping devouring heaven demonic technique to break through to the 6th layer of foundation establishment or even the 7th layer, he still had confidence to resolve it. He could slowly reconcile by using heavenly and earthly treasures, cultivation technique secret elixirs, and the yin-yang 5 elements Kunping technique, refining the violent chaotic energy and baptizing his Tao foundation in mana. But leaping to the 9th layer of foundation establishment in one go, absorbing too much netherworld blood evil, caused the cultivation technique to go out of control, with physical body cultivation technique and mana repelling each other. Moreover, he was now in an extremely poor state, with his physical body and foundation damaged, polluted by the blood evil, making it difficult to cultivate. Explain this cultivation technique to me in detail. Lu Chongqing pondered slightly. He had heard Lu Quanzhen mention this cultivation technique in the past, but wasn't clear on the specifics. Now, looking at the other person's situation, he wanted to see if the problem could be fundamentally resolved. Yes, Father. Lu Chuanzhen didn't hide anything and explained the Kunping Devouring Heaven Demon God technique in detail. Kunping Devouring Heaven Demonic Technique. Lu Chongqing frowned slightly, thinking to himself that this cultivation technique was indeed a thorough demonic technique. By devouring all things in the world and living beings' origin sources to elevate oneself, it presented no solutions, only mitigation and reconciliation methods. The whole cultivation process could be described as 9 deaths and 1 life, depending on whether one's fate was strong enough. However, without cultivating the Kunping Devouring Heaven Demonic Technique, just cultivating the Yin-Yang 5 Elements Kunping Technique, it was also a top-level cultivation technique. Father, how come you are in the Jin Kingdom? Seeing his father silent, Lu Chuanzhen felt somewhat ashamed and softly asked. He recalled that when he fell into the hands of the shocking heaven-old demon, a female cultivator in core formation came, seemingly the heavenly spider true master from the 5 poisons cult. But he really didn't know when his father appeared. Besides, Jiang Country and Jin Kingdom were far apart. How did his father come to Jin Kingdom? I happen to have some matters in Jin Kingdom, and upon hearing news of your situation, I sent people to investigate your whereabouts. Lu Chongqing looked at him and said, You should rest well first, we can talk about things later. Seeing his son was still very weak, Lu Chongqing did not talk much further. He handed a bottle of elixirs to him, advising to take 2 daily, then left the room, pondering how to solve Lu Quanzhen's problem. Letting his son live was naturally not difficult. As long as he helped him sort out mana periodically and nurtured the physical body, there would be no major issue. But if his son's condition couldn't be resolved, it would be tantamount to being semi-crippled, unable to cultivate further. Besides the blood evil foundation issue, he also faced a big issue: lifespan. Name: Lu Chuanzhen. Lifespan: 60-69. Talent: 4th grade spiritual root. Cultivation level: Foundation Establishment 9th layer. Talent: Combat Law Compatibility 69%. Lu Chuanzhen only had a lifespan of less than 100 when he broke through to the 9th layer of Foundation Establishment. After being heavily injured having used the life-burning method, his lifespan was further reduced to only 9 years. Moreover, he had consumed lifespan extension pills in his early years. Now, if he wanted to continue extending his lifespan, he would have to consume 3rd-rank lifespan extension pills or some rare spiritual medicine for extension. But without solving his situation, even obtaining 3rd-rank lifespan extension pills would merely treat the symptoms, not the root cause. To untie the bell, the person who tied it must do it. Looks like I have to visit the Yiming Ghost sect. After pondering for a long time, Lu Chongqing decided to visit the Yiming Ghost sect later, to see if the Yiming Ghost sect had a way to fundamentally resolve the netherworld blood evil. Theoretically, as long as the netherworld blood evil could be perfectly controlled, he could help Lu Chuanzhen reconcile the cultivation technique, then find a way to repair the foundational Dao injuries. Regarding lifespan, as long as Lu Quanzhen's foundational Dao injuries could be resolved, he would have the hope of impacting core formation. As long as he broke through to core formation, lifespan effects, though existent, wouldn't be very significant. 6 days later, Lu Quanzhen's injuries had slightly alleviated, allowing him to move normally, though he still appeared very weak. Let's go, I will take you to seek an explanation. Lu Chongqing immediately took Lu Chuanzhen to find Meng Xiaochan, indicating he was going out for a while. Lu Quanzhen's pupils contracted sharply upon seeing Meng Xiaochan in front, with a look of shock and doubt towards his father. This is Meng Xiaochan, an old friend of your father's. I already know about your previous matters. She didn't know your identity at the time, so there were some misunderstandings. But your father being able to know about your situation is thanks to Xiaochan. Lu Chongqing glanced at his son and said. Lu Chuanzhen was in utter surprise. Though called an old friend, the person was gazing tenderly at his father. How could he not know what relationship the two had? For this he simply didn't know what to say. He could only say that his father's social connections were indeed quite extensive. He even had friends in Jin Kingdom. At this moment he recalled the previously appearing heavenly spider true master, who seemed to be the master of this Meng Xiaochan. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 14:17. Could it be that the heavenly spider true man also has some connection with my father? Lu Chuanzhen glanced at his father, his eyes twitching slightly, feeling that this was highly likely. Otherwise, how could this heavenly spider true man appear just in time and even demand me from the old demon Zhentian? However, as a son, he naturally couldn't speak on matters concerning his father. Immediately, he clasped his hands towards Meng Xiaochan and said, Chuanzhen greets Senior Meng. Thank you for your assistance. There's no need to be polite. Meng Xiaochan responded with a gentle smile. Xiaochan, Chuanzhen has some troubling issues. I plan to take him out to see if we can resolve them. Lu Chongxing said to Meng Xiaochan, intending to take Lu Chuanzhen to the Yiming ghost sect. Lu Lang, is there anything I can help with? My master said before that you can reach out to her if you need anything. Meng Xiaochan knew that Lu Quanzhen's situation was quite severe, and it was already remarkable that Lu Chongxing managed to stabilize it. It's just a minor issue. If your master asks, just let her know. Lu Chongxing smiled and chose not to trouble Nangong Meili. He was planning to take Lu Chuanzhen to the Yiming ghost sect to demand answers, needing only to disguise themselves as loose cultivators without any scruples. But bringing Nangong Meili along would be inconvenient. All right, Lu Lang, be careful. Meng Xiaochan, understanding Lu Changsheng's capabilities, didn't ask further. After saying that, she lightly pursed her pink lips, her beautiful eyes filled with hopeful reluctance, and said, Lu Lang, once you're done, will you return? I will. Wait for me. Lu Chongxing gently caressed her dreamlike, exquisite cheek with a smile. But as the words left his mouth, he suddenly felt it was inauspicious, like tempting fate, so he changed his words, saying, I'll still be in the Jin Kingdom. If anything happens, you can crush the transmission jade talisman and I'll come immediately. Whoosh! After Lu Chongxing and Lu Chuanzhen exited the Immortal Spider Marketplace, he immediately channeled his mana, riding a divine rainbow into the sky. Transforming into a rainbow to fly, is that a nascent soul Immortals technique? Even though Lu Chuanzhen had already guessed that his father had broken through to the core formation stage, seeing this scene still left him astonished. After all, this was the core formation stage. Whether in Jiang country or Jin Kingdom, it is considered a leading presence, known as a nascent soul immortal. Has my family already reached the status of a core formation noble family? Just as he was wondering, suddenly golden light surged before him, dazzling and brilliant. A torrent of demon chi swept up, soaring skyward, giving a suffocating, mountainous pressure. It's that demon king shimmering with golden light. Lu Chuanzhen was immediately startled, recognizing it as the golden light he had seen when his consciousness was hazy earlier. The next moment, a massive ping bird, seemingly forged from solid gold, appeared before him. Its body was huge and robust, every feather flashing with sharp, dazzling light, glittering like jewels. Its sharp beak seemed forged from ancient immortal gold, exuding a metallic icy brilliance. Its pair of golden eyes, like two brilliant suns, profound and boundless, emanated an overwhelming presence that made one afraid to look directly. Is this Demon King Father's spiritual pet? Lu Chuanzhen stared at the fearsome, awe-inspiring golden-winged heavenly ping before him, his heart in turmoil, like waves surging thousands of layers high. This is too astonishing. This golden demon king seemed to have subdued the old demon Zhentian in just a few breaths. And yet father could tame such a demon king. But before he could think more, Lu Chongxing carried him onto the golden-winged heavenly ping. Go! Lu Chongxing instructed the golden ping on the direction of the Yiming ghost sect, then enveloped Lu Chuanzhen with the yin-yang mysterious divine light. Caw! The golden-winged heavenly ping let out a cry, its wings stretching as a gale howled, clouds swirled, as though the world and all things made way, heading toward the Yiming ghost sect. If you have any questions, just ask. Lu Chongxing glanced at his bewildered son beside him and spoke. Father, where are we planning to go? Lu Chuanzhen snapped out of his trance, slightly dazed, and didn't inquire about his father's strength. Of course, to the Yiming ghost sect. Lu Chongxing answered straightforwardly. The Yiming ghost sect. Lu Chuanzhen was taken aback, his expression caught between shock and doubt. Since the ghost demon true master sent people to hunt you for so many years as your father, I must seek an explanation. Moreover, your Dao foundation and mana have been eroded by the blood fiend, causing conflicts with your cultivation technique and mana. Unless you abolish your cultivation and start anew, it can't be fundamentally resolved. This mana is similar to the Yiming Ghost Sect's Netherworld Blood Evil technique, so I intend to see if the Yiming Ghost Sect has a solution. Lu Chongqing, clad in a mystic robe, stood tall, exuding an aura of suppressed power, his expression indifferent as he spoke. Lu Chuanzhen was bewildered. He hadn't expected his father would go to the Yiming Ghost Sect to stir up trouble. As one of the 3 great demon sects in the Jin Kingdom, the Yiming Ghost Sect's strength is extraordinary, even surpassing the Qingyun sect by a level. Though his father's strength is profound and unfathomable, wanting to go to the Yiming Ghost Sect looking for trouble might be challenging, right? Father, the Yiming Ghost Sect openly has 9 nascent soul immortals in charge, not to mention the supreme treasure, Myriad Ghosts blood pool to uphold their foundation. There are even rumors that the supreme elder of the Yiming Ghost Sect is just half a step away from breaking through to nascent soul, and with the Myriad Ghosts blood pool in hand, his strength rivals that of a nascent soul true lord. Lu Quanzhen's face turned pale, voicing quietly to subtly express the immense danger. No matter. Lu Chongqing looked at his son's expression and spoke softly. Since he dared to head to the Yiming Ghost Sect, he certainly had the confidence. With the 9 treasures Rui Bone, his strength absolutely matched the core formation late stage. Additionally, he had the golden-winged Heavenly Peng, a 3rd-ranked true spirit bloodline demon king. This battle power, even the Yiming Ghost Sect had to hold some reservation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 14:18. Unwilling to fight him to the death. Even if the opponent wanted to fight to the death, Lu Chongqing was utterly fearless. With the golden-winged Heavenly Peng, unless a nascent soul true lord intervened, he could come and go as he pleased. Even if a nascent soul true lord came, Lu Chongqing felt he could compete in speed. I am a fighter being chased by a fighting emperor, but am not worried in the slightest, because his horse isn't faster than mine. Lu Chongqing suddenly thought of this phrase. Although it was a joke, it underscored how important it was to have a good mount. Lu Chuanzhen, seeing his father say this, was no longer worried. His blood-colored, narrow eyes gazed in the direction of the Yiming Ghost Sect, a surge of fierce hatred rising in his heart. Calm yourself in your current state, avoid impulsiveness and rash killing intent. Lu Chongqing, seeing his son, frowned slightly and placed his hand on his shoulder, circulating the Yin-Yang creation scripture to help him manage his magic aura. Most demonic techniques have some side effects. At this moment, the blood fiend was eroding Lu Quanzhen's physical body, soul and Dao foundation, making him naturally prone to drastic actions and deviation. Yes, father. Lu Chuanzhen took a deep breath, steadied his mental spirit, realizing his emotional state was unstable. However, his personality was somewhat like that, with a need for revenge. If he had enough strength, he would immediately seek out Ghost Demon True Master for revenge. After this, come back with me and properly rest your body. Lu Chongqing glanced at his son's blood-colored, gray hair and spoke. The Mount Sumeru Tree King had the effect of purifying the mind and suppressing heart demons. Living home long-term would be beneficial for him. It's just thinking that his son would return in this state, his wife Chu Xinzhen might not know what to say. Father, sorry to trouble you. Lu Chuanzhen said in a low voice. Encountering some things while outside is quite normal. Lu Chongqing shook his head. Oh, earlier in the Immortal Spider Marketplace besides Xiaochan, you probably met a young girl in a purple dress, do you remember? At this moment he recalled his daughter Nangong Yaoyao's situation and mentioned it to Lu Chuanzhen. Although it's unlikely they'd see each other again, any minor misunderstanding the siblings had in the past should be resolved early. Otherwise, with time he might forget. Are you referring to the daughter of Heavenly Spider True Man Nangong Yaoyao? Lu Chuanzhen had been vaguely speculating due to the prior incident with Meng Xiaochan. Yes, it's Yaoyao, she's actually your sister. She attacked you earlier due to the 6-winged golden silkworm incident. But she didn't know your identity at the time. She's going to the Immortal Lotus sect now and cannot meet you to apologize. Lu Chongqing said softly. Indeed. Lu Chuanzhen thought inwardly, not knowing what to say. He had speculated that Heavenly Spider True Man and his father might be related, but didn't expect Nangong Yaoyao to be their daughter. Yet his father was a Foundation establishment cultivator back then. How was it possible to have a daughter with a nascent soul immortal? He felt a rush of emotions but also some relief. When facing Nangong Yaoyao, he hadn't suffered. He almost killed Nangong Yaoyao. If he really had killed his sister at the time, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Father. Subsequently, Lu Chuanzhen looked at his father, wanting to say something but hesitated. What is it? Lu Chongqing signaled him to speak directly. How many other brothers and sisters do I have out there? You could tell me in advance to avoid similar misunderstandings, Lu Chuanzhen said. Although he didn't have any emotional connections with most siblings and didn't feel much. He didn't want any internal strife. Lu Chongqing. Is this how he appeared in his son's mind? There was clearly only Nangong Yaoyao as an outside daughter. Just this one. Lu Chongqing said, thinking that when they return home he should introduce the children and siblings to each other more. Otherwise, with so many siblings, they might not recognize each other if they met outside, especially with Lu Chuanzhen being away for over 20 years. There's a chance he doesn't know many of the siblings at home. The Immortal Spider Marketplace was within the Five Poisons Cults region, so it was still a distance to the Yiming Ghost Sect. Also, heading to the Yiming Ghost Sect would most likely involve a battle, so Lu Chongqing didn't have the golden-winged heavenly peng fly at full speed to conserve its strength. Even reaching the Yiming Ghost Sect region, he slightly slowed down to keep the golden-winged heavenly peng in good condition. At this moment, suddenly a surge of spiritual root enhancements activated, accompanied by a system notification tone. Ding! Congratulations to the host for reaching 100 progeny with spiritual roots. You have received one advanced lottery opportunity. Has Jiwei given birth? Lu Chongqing roughly guessed who had given birth to a child. A month ago, Yu Fei's child was born with ordinary spiritual roots, just 5th grade spiritual root. And this child, Lu Chongqing sensed, should be a 4th grade spiritual root. This left him slightly disappointed. He had hoped after breaking through core formation he and Xia Zizhu could have another child with superior grade spiritual root. But after 6 attempts he understood that Xia Zizhu's spirit-nurturing physique worked like this. It could steadily produce offspring with spiritual roots, even guaranteeing a middle-grade spiritual root. But for superior-grade spiritual roots, a lot of luck was still needed. System lottery. Lu Chongqing thought quietly, hoping to draw something useful to enhance his combat power. If he could draw another 3rd-rank Demon King, he could truly roam unhindered. P.S. The author's note is not visible on QRead, so I'll add it here. Lu Chuanzhen should have received a lottery for breaking through the 9th level of Foundation Establishment, but it was forgotten earlier, so hey, race a patch. Content added in Chapter 484, Lu Chuanzhen breaks through the 9th level of Foundation Establishment, and the main character receives an advanced lottery, a Great Desolate Dragon Spine. Great Desolate Dragon Spine. Grade, 4th rank. Description. One of the 9 guardian bones of the Divine Bone Sect. This bone is indestructible, can boost physical body strength, absorbs heaven and earth's power to repair the body, and can transform into Great Desolate Dragon armor. At least 3rd rank body refining is required for refinement. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible.